In our first segment of tonight's program, we will hear from Matt Gilmore and Chet Copeland, get their thoughts on the upcoming season. And in our second segment, we will take a look at rankings from Class 6A all the way down through Class 8 Division 2. And then our third and final segment, we will take a look at some of the top games to watch across the great state of Kansas here in week number 1. All right, Matt, here we are, the first Friday in the month of September, and football is officially back. It kicked off last night with some great games across the Sunflower State, but we're just happy to have football back. And we look back at a year ago, we thought things were going to be back to normal here in 2021 at this point, but we're still having some cancellation and teams and schools having to deal with COVID still.
Yeah, we're not quite there yet. And, I think the thing that is exciting that we can look forward to is everybody is planning to play this year. Obviously, we had some schools not play last year with the KCAC school or the Kansas City Atchison Lake schools, and others that had multiple games canceled, due to COVID. And it's still presenting challenges. Here we are, entering Friday, and there's going to be more, but we've already have 13 games that are canceled this week. And the majority of those due to COVID, a couple due to small numbers, and that can be a result of COVID as well. But so there's certainly some challenges out there. Obviously, if your school or coaches, if you're looking for games, you can always reach out to us at K-Preps for Sports in Kansas, and we've been really successful and been able to find games for you at a last minute last year, and even some this year, and even can look across state lines, and try to hook those up. And so you certainly appreciate the job that the coaches and the athletic directors and the administrations do in getting these games put together on such short notice and getting the opportunity for their kids to play. And so that's the exciting thing. I'm happy to have everybody back on the field and all of the teams back in the fold this year. And I think we've got some exciting football ahead of us. A lot of teams favored to potentially repeat, but I think we're going to have some unknowns step up and take that state title. So just excited to get things kicked off here this first week.
And Chet, how excited are you to get the new season kicked off?
Guys, I'm really ready for the 2021 high school football season in the state of Kansas. Last year, at times, it felt like a makeshift season with quarantine and things going on. We're certainly not in the clear, but I'm ready because it's been all about football in the summer. Last year was such a weird year with prepping and not having summer weights for some schools, and some schools not even knowing if they were going to play, and even some schools in Kansas not playing at all. Such a great week, number one, but we can't really put a ton of stock into the outcomes of week 1 always, because the teams really can get so much better throughout the course of the season. I mean, it's crazy. Some of these kids, first ever time starting this Friday night, or in some cases yesterday on Thursday night. And before you know it, these kids grow up, and of course are going to be different players here in 5-6 weeks down the road. We see teams that get a lot better throughout the season, but certainly some big matchups across the state. Wichita East and Hayes, one of those, Aquinas and St. James Academy. Of course, I'm from Southeast Kansas. I like that Columbus-Frontenac matchup out of the CNC. And of course, last year that was kind of an unknown because Frontenac had so many quarantined. A lot of good games across the state. We're going to talk a lot about that today. And of course, want to thank all of our sponsors for always powering this show. American Implement, seatbelts are for everyone. Of course, Next Tech Wireless. And then, as always, presenting myself, Mammoth Sports Construction, and Watco. So we appreciate all their support, as well as all the support of the Think Before You Post Power of Social Media Tour. But a lot to get to today. We're going to talk a lot about football all across the Sunflower State in all classifications. So going to be a great Friday night, and I'm ready for it.
We'll take our first time out of tonight's program. When we return, we will take a look at the rankings from Class 6A all the way down through Class 8 Division 2. You're tuned in to the Kansas Kickoff Show.
The Kansas State Fair is right around the corner, and we couldn't be more excited. Finally, delicious fair food, rides, music, and remarkably low prices on all of our spas, grills, and outdoor furniture. Come see Pools Plus this year at the Kansas State Fair, September 10th through the 19th. Come take advantage of the savings. Give the professionals at Pools Plus a call to schedule your pool closing. Our schedule is filling up fast. Stay safe and shop local. Pools Plus, 21 East 1st in downtown Hutchinson.
Need to send someone money? Pay a babysitter? Split the bill? Use First Pay. It is the person-to-person payment option located right inside your online banking app. There is no need to download an additional application. It is simple, safe, and secure. We're first for you. Visit fnbhutch.bank to learn more, or click on your First National Bank app to get started. You can also stop into a location nearest you, and we're happy to help. First National Bank of Hutchinson, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Welcome back to the Kansas Kickoff Show, powered by kpreps.com and Sports in Kansas.
Welcome back to the Kansas Kickoff Show, powered by kpreps.com and Sports in Kansas, and presented by American Implements. Next Tech Wireless, the Safe Project, and Think Before You Post. As we continue here on our Week 1 show, again, along with Matt Gilmore of kpreps.com and Chet Copeland of Sports in Kansas, and our kpreps.com and Sports in Kansas contributor, Connor Nickel. I'm Sean Boston. It is great to have you along here for tonight's show. Here in the second segment, we will go ahead and take a look at the rankings from Class 6A all the way down through Class 8 Division 2.
All right, Matt, we'll start in Class 6A. Blue Valley Northwest ranked number 5, Blue Valley at 4, Blue Valley North 3, Olathe North at 2, and the reigning 6A state champ Derby at number 1 in Class 6A.
Yeah, really no surprise that Derby opens the season at number 1. 6th consecutive year the Panthers have opened the poll in the top spot, and of course they've won 5 out of the last 6 state titles, and obviously favored to do it again this year. Dylan Edwards returns at the tailback position, 1,800 yards rushing, 25 touchdowns, and he's got 3 of the best offensive linemen in the state returning in Jonas Vickers, Dylan Collin, and Alex Key. So this is a team that's going to be loaded. Olathe North's the team to watch out for. Obviously get to the title game last year, and they return their entire backfield with the likes of Jacob Parrish and Noah Parker and Quantez Love. So outstanding team. Got some good pieces on the offensive line back as well. Of course, that headlined by Parker Lane. So this is a team that's going to be reckoned with. They open at Shawnee Mission South. Blue Valley North, again, they played last night and opened with Bishop Miege, and they throttled Bishop Miege 51-24. Henry Martin with an outstanding debut for the new head coach as Andy Sims moved on to the Missouri side, and Martin over 350 yards, 6 total touchdowns in that game, and just hammer Bishop Miege. Blue Valley in the number 4 spot, again a team who returns quite a bit back. The quarterback Grayson Holbert is a guy who really transitioned to that position last year. Michael Solomon back as well, and then obviously the receiver. So this is the Tigers team's one to look out for.
All right, Matt, we'll stick with you in Class 5A. May is at number 5, Bishop Carroll at number 4, Mill Valley at number 3, St. Thomas Aquinas at 2, and Wichita Northwest number 1 team in Class 5A. The Grizzlies coming off the loss against Bishop Carroll last night. And
yeah, so we released our preseason rankings, obviously, and then obviously we got a lot of movement after one night here. So, but you mentioned last night Northwest and Carroll, and another classic showdown between those two teams, tied at 13 at halftime, and then Carroll takes advantage of a couple turnovers in the second half to get a field goal to go up 16-13, and then scored a touchdown to go up 10, and then got a return to fumble for a touchdown. So things kind of snowballed for Wichita Northwest there in a hurry in the third quarter, and Carroll extended that lead to 17 points. Jeremiah Moore, their outstanding athlete for Wichita Northwest, was a bit hobbled after that fumble and left the game. Did come back in and run for a touchdown, but Carroll holds on and wins that one 37-27. So obviously the Golden Eagles look for them to move up in the poll next week, and Northwest potentially to fall out of that top spot. But still two very talented teams. They'll certainly factor on the west side of Class 5A. Aquinas opened the season at second. A team that's going to have to replace Tank Young. The Saints are going to be right there. And then we can't forget about Mill Valley. Yes, they were hit heavy by graduation. They opened the poll at number 3, but Joel Appleby's created an incredible program there with very strong depth. And then Mays with their outstanding quarterback Avery Johnson in the 5 spot to open the season. Got a tough game to open at Andover, but the Eagles look to be a fixture on the west side as well.
Down to Class 4A, McPherson at number 5, Ark City at 4, Andover Central at 3, St. James at number 2, and the Stags of Bishop Miege, who opened the season last night with a loss at number 1 in Class 4A.
Yeah, tough assignment for Miege. Obviously, they've been the clear-cut favorite in this classification for a long time, although getting beat by St. James. But felt like, the Miege had a little bit more coming back than St. James, who had to replace the bulk of the talent from their roster. And Miege with some talented players back, Jalen Birch, who had nearly 1,000 yards rushing last year, and then Colin Williams and Jake Welsh on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, St. James has got a tough task to taking on Aquinas this week and to see if they can remain in the top two. And then Andover Central is a team that I know that Connor and I and we all feel that has really got a talented roster come back. Some really nice players up front, as well as Ashton Barkdale in the backfield, and then Kai Kuntz coming over from Capen to play the quarterback position. So this is a team to watch out for. Obviously, we know that Arc City is loaded as they had that incredible run last year and return really the bulk of their skill kids. They've got some pieces to replace up front, but Arc City is still going to play a very challenging schedule as a 4A school. They're going to be playing, and Ken McPherson finally break through and get to that title game. They've lost 4 straight in the semifinal. Obviously, some nice pieces back. Jayton Gum was just a standout surprise last year. I think even for the McPherson staff as a sophomore, going for over 1,300 yards and 13 touchdowns. But the Bullpups, obviously, they're a team and a program that is always right there, and expects Coach Pav and the Bullpups to be right there again at the end of this year.
Shed down to Class 3A, Holton at number 5, Cheney at 4, Frontenac at 3, Wichita Collegiate at 2, and Andale at number 1 in Class 3A.
Maybe my favorite class to cover across the state of Kansas. I think it's so deep, though, whenever we start to look at it as a whole. I mean, I'm not so sure that we can't say that there are 10 teams that could make it to a state semifinal type of year, maybe a state final. There's not a clear-cut path really for anybody on the East this year. I think the West, a lot of people think in Andale. Of course, Cheney's had a nice run here recently. And, of course, the Voth kid has really turned it on as being a nice multiple sport athlete for them. Holton is always Holton. Of course, Frontenac returns their entire defensive line. I do question maybe linebacker play in secondary this year. They got to have some guys that step up. We've talked a lot about defensive line, but last year Holton kind of handled them, and I know that I question mark that in some of their plays from scrimmage, but we'll see where Frontenac's at this year. They should be impressive. I think Columbus is a top 5 caliber team as well. They're not in the rankings. Wichita Collegiate and Wesley Fair got a lot back this year, so expect a good year. But Andale's Andale, and of course they graduated a lot last year, but they returned some guys that saw a lot of valuable minutes. And this is a program that doesn't necessarily rebuild, they reload. I really like teams outside of those top 5. I mentioned Columbus. I think Girard is a dark horse, as well as Galena. Topeka Hayden, question mark them. They have some pretty good linemen back on both sides of the football, but Desmond Purnell's gone. Perry LeCompton lost a big class. Prairie View, I think, is kind of a dark horse. They return a lot, and not a lot of people giving them statewide credit. Southeast of Saline is another one, and Holcomb out west. So we'll see. Scott City, can they join the conversation as well?
Connor in Class 2A, Hoisington at number 5, Beloit at 4, Nemaha Central 3, Silver Lake at 2, and Rossville comes in number 1 in the 2A preseason poll.
Totally, and Rossville, kind of that clear-cut number 1 team. Obviously, War on 24, 4 rivals, Rossville 1, Silver Lake, Lake 2. We really like the Thunder at number 3. MC brings back several quality players. Zach Kramer at quarterback, a great dual threat guy. This is a team that beat Silver Lake in the playoffs last year. Beloit at number 4 brings back really everybody. Their line is really where things are at. Obviously, just 2 wins last year until that great playoff win at TMP, makes a semifinal run. Then really that 5 spot, Hoisington and Gardner playing are kind of 5A and 5B. But talking with Zach Baird this summer, the big thing is Robinson. He will move. He was in the backfield 2 years ago, the line last year. He moves to the backfield again after a tremendous camp summer. Robinson is the key for Hoisington.
In Class 1A, Centralia number 5, Sedgwick at 4, Inman at 3, Smith Center at 2, and Opie flying high at number 1 in Class 1A.
I've said this a lot. 1A had shrunk as a classification, but right now I'm calling it. I'm saying the Opie Eagles are going to repeat in this class, only allowing 2 points a game last season. Of course, Defensive Player of the Year Ted Skalski is back, and of course, Damon Redeker back at the quarterback and defensive back position. But Coach Glatzik and Centralia, you always got to think that they're in the conversation. mention other teams to look at, though. You got to look at Linden, Oakley, Plainville. Even Waubonsee has a 2,000-yard passer back. Conway Springs in the 1A classification. I know they graduated some kids and were low on numbers last year, but you got to factor them in.
Right now down to 8-man Division 1, Hill City at number 5, Hoxie at 4, Canton Galva at 3, Madison at 2, and Little River coming at number 1 in 8-man 1.
We really like LR a lot. Obviously, they win state last year. Garrison and Stevens graduate, but then that entire offensive line is back. Coach Ayers does a tremendous job. Of course, state titles at 3 schools. Madison at 2. Casey Helm, of course, at quarterback. Multiple offers for college in 2 sports. Turner at tailback should be a tremendous, great player for them. Canton Galva, of course. Multi at quarterback. Tyson Struber at wideout, the tremendous player, a brand new O-line with a lot of potential this year. Hoxie at 4, Ashton Dowell at quarterback. He'll be a 3-year starter. Hoxie's got a ton of depth. Derek Johnson, 100-plus tackles last year. And, of course, Hill City, in a very, very deep class, is ranked 5th. Decimated by injuries last year, but can QB Aiden Amrine, that talented sophomore, have a big year?
And last but not least, 8-man Division 2, Wheatland Cornell at number 5, Thunder Ridge at 4, Osborne at 3, Victoria at 2, and Hanover at number 1 in 8-man Division 2.
Love 8-man Division 2, and Hanover has been at the top. This is a program that the multiple sport athletes they have, state basketball champions, state football champions last year, and the freakish athleticism of a lot of their guys, including one of them coming back, Emmett Juneman. I expect him to be their star, along with the Dimmler kid. Such a well-coached ball club, one of the best offensive minds and coaches in 8-man football. Coach Hoyer does an outstanding job. Victoria, I like them a lot as well. The Schoenrock kid back, of course, can play a little bit of anything, pass, rush, play a little bit of running back, linebacker, you name it. And, of course, Carson Worth is back as well on this team. They play lacrosse this week. I think Osborne, under Coach Carradine, has done a very nice job with their a nice quarterback back. I think Frankfurt is a little bit underrated as well. I think Buckland has a nice team. There's several teams that we can start looking at here that are just outside of that top 5 that could surprise us this year in 2021. So Hanover, of course, the king of this classification. It will be familiar names in some ways, familiar last names at least for Hanover, but a lot of the power graduated from Hanover, but I still expect Hanover to be that team at the end of the year. But, of course, look out west. A team like Victoria certainly could be in the mix. Osborne, teams like that, of course, are impressive. But as far as, districts, there's a little bit different in this. So some teams that you think are west are actually east in 8-man football. So before I say that, I need to go look at the districts. So 8-man football, definitely some talent as always.
And that will do it for our ranking segment. We'll step aside and come back and take a look at some of the top games to watch around the state. Here in week number 1, you're tuned into the Kansas Kickoff Show.
The Kansas State Fair is right around the corner, and we couldn't be more excited. Finally, delicious fair food, rides, music, and remarkably low prices on all of our spas, grills, and outdoor furniture. Come see Pools Plus this year at the Kansas State Fair, September 10th through the 19th. Come take advantage of the savings. Give the professionals at Pools Plus a call to schedule your pool closing. Our schedule is filling up fast. Stay safe and shop local. Pools Plus, 21 East 1st in downtown Hutchinson.
Need to send someone money? Pay a babysitter? Split the bill? Use FirstPay. It is the person-to-person payment option located right inside your online banking app. There is no need to download an additional application. It is simple, safe, and secure. We're first for you. Visit fnbhutch.bank to learn more, or click on your First National Bank app to get started. You can also stop into a location nearest you, and we're happy to help. First National Bank of Hutchinson, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Welcome back to the Kansas Kickoff Show, powered by kpreps.com and Sports in Kansas.
And here in our third and final segment of this evening's show, we'll go ahead and take a look at some of the top games to watch across the state of Kansas.
All right, Matt, we'll go to you first off. A big one as St. Thomas Aquinas takes on St. James.
Yeah, big game in the Eastern Kansas League, and obviously, what a great story last year with St. James Academy, getting that win over Bishop Miege, and then getting to the state championship game and then handling Arc City in that one. So Coach Radke won in the first state championship in school history for on the football side for St. James, and they graduated quite a lot off of this team. Obviously, LaJames White, when they got him last year in the summer from when he transferred over from Piper, huge boost with over 1,500 yards rushing. He had nearly 600 yards receiving, and so he was just a difference maker. And they had a lot of great players as well with Dakota Bird at quarterback, and then some really nice pieces on the line. But replacing a lot of those skill kids is going to be tough. Now, the one guy they do have back is Tyler Claiborne, and he's an outstanding receiver. 76 receptions last year, nearly 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns. And he's going to look to the lefty this year. Jackson House is going to be their quarterback, and it's going to be a challenge early, I think. And Aquinas has lost their own right. One of the great backs that we had in the state last year, and really for the past 4 years in Tank Young. 5,400 career rushing yards for Young, and maybe a down year by his standards last year with just 1,300 yards, and that's incredible to say. But he was banged up a little bit. Of course, Aquinas played that brutal schedule last year with the likes of St. James, Miege, the Eastern Kansas League schools. Then they pick up Omaha West Side, the top-ranked team in Nebraska. They play Raytown, Shawnee Mission Northwest, and then Bishop Carroll. So incredibly tough gauntlet of the schedule last year for the Saints, who went 6-4, and then got knocked out by Mill Valley. But replacing Tank Young, they still got quite a bit back. Maxwell Ford really came on the scene last year as a sophomore and had a nice season. Sean Carroll is going to be the feature fullback for them, and he was nearly 750 yards rushing last year. And they've got such talented players on the defensive line. Jalen Marshall's a Mizzou commit, and then you got an impact transfer in the secondary as well. So this is a team that I think is going to continue to get better, and I think this will be an outstanding game. But I look for Aquinas to be the early favorite this early in the season.
All right, Connor, let's go to you. A big one at Lewis Field Stadium there in your neck of the woods, and Hayes is the Indians host Wichita East.
Yeah, this should be a really fascinating game, Sean. You've got two teams that are in that top 10 for their classes. East went 7-2 last year, led 6A in scoring defense, their best season since 1983. Hayes High started the season with 5 straight wins. A lot of talent on both sides. Obviously for Hayes High, the big news, Jaron Kanek, the Clemson commit, the tremendous backstory, a great all-purpose guy, will play the quarterback position this fall. And that was the big thing with Hayes High last year, and really the big thing this year is get the ball in Jaron Kanek's hands a lot. There were certain games last year, particularly the home loss to Capon, when he did not get the ball very, very much. The one game where he did play quarterback last year because of COVID protocols and so on, Kanek had to play quarterback against Mays South. 36 carries for around 190 yards. Also had a solid day passing. Obviously, Hayes High has a lot of talent. Gavin Myers, the linebacker, should become Hayes High's all-time tackler fairly early this season. The Dale cousins, Jordan Dale, will probably play wideout after being the WAC offensive player of the year last year. Dalton Dale, a three-sport standout, is a great player on defense. East, of course, with Toby Osensanmi, their tremendous free safety linebacker type player, has committed to K-State. Trayvon Manuel at DB is a very, very fast kid. You've got Deontay Mitchell, the sophomore quarterback. He was hurt part of last year. I really think this game comes down to two things. I expect a fairly low-scoring game, but how well the quarterbacks play and stay healthy. Mitchell and Kanek have both been banged up in past years is going to be really, really key. I think Hayes High across the board has a little bit more depth, and the big stat is when East
generally does not have long road trips. But since 2014, when they have road trips over 30 miles, they are 1-7. This is obviously a several-hour trip west. And I think overall Hayes gets a low-scoring win here.
Awesome, Connor. Appreciate that. Chet, how about Columbus and Frontenac as two top CNC rivals go at it?
Columbus and Frontenac is certainly an interesting game this week. In Frontenac on Friday, two CNC teams that are very good, both 3A contenders on the east side. Of course, last year Frontenac was shorthanded a little bit because of quarantine. Of course, their quarterback was out, and you look at Frontenac, all four defensive linemen back from starting last year. Of course, led by Landon Dean, who is 6'5", almost 6'6", 245 pounds, Oklahoma State commit. And then, of course, Cruz Blair, a two-time All-State pick, Lane Franklin, Colin McCartney. They're loaded. And you look at Columbus, Cody Schock up front, 6'4", 6'5", 270 pounds, and Gabe Martin, pound for pound, one of the strongest guys in the state. Jackson Harity, Landon Midget. There's a lot of guys on this team. The Smith kid defensively. Columbus and Frontenac are loaded. This could be a coin flip style of matchup in Class 3A. I don't know which way I go. I think Frontenac's just going to have too much in this one. I give Frontenac the edge, although Frontenac will have to step up the physicality. I feel like on their team this year, I feel like, tackling is going to be a big thing in this game. Of course, looking for linebackers, defensive backs, stuff like that to step up for Frontenac this year because they definitely have the guys up front, one of the best defensive lines in the state. An interesting matchup. Of course, these teams are really going to improve throughout the end of the year, and we could see this as maybe a rematch in the playoffs later on in 2021, a showdown out of the CNC, Columbus at Frontenac. I'm giving Frontenac the slight edge in this one in a coin flip style of matchup.
All right, Matt, we'll go back to you as Gossel travels to Canton to take on Canton Galva.
Yeah, the 8-man game we're featuring this week is Gossel at Canton Galva, and you may look at last year's season opener where Canton Galva won this one 54-0 and kind of ask why. But remember, Gossel is a team that really came on late, finished 5-4, but reached the state quarterfinals and as far as an advancement as Canton Galva did on the other side. And the Bluebirds kind of got hot at the right time, beat Kinsley, and then that incredible double overtime win over Pratt Skyline to get to the quarterfinals where they lost to Hoxie. So, this is a team that I know Coach Garrett Hebert thinks that they've got some nice pieces coming back. With Jake Weens, their outstanding running back, and some other pieces as well. And so this is a team that could make some noise. Now, obviously, Canton Galva is extremely talented with all the pieces they have back with Struber and Maltby and a lot of skill kids, but really looking for some answers up front. I think Canton Galva is the favorite in this game, but maybe one to keep an eye on just because Gossel's a team that maybe to look out for later in the year. But Connor, do you see this one any different?
Yeah, I certainly see Canton as the favorite here. There are two major takeaways. Coach Hoppus and I had a really long talk several weeks back. He has hired his brother, Zach, who formerly coached Canton Galva several years back, to coach that line. Braden Doman is a guy who has really grown, 6'3", 300 pounds, and Xavier Robinson. Coach Hoppus told me that X is a guy who was hurt all last year, could really surprise a lot of people up front. Gossel had nobody over 201 pounds last year and should have a similar sized roster this year. I think that Canton is certainly your favorite, but these teams are on west and east sides, and I think that the west, which Gossel is on, is certainly more open. And if Gossel can make this a competitive game, I think it really sets up Gossel for a really nice run this season.
For Matt Gilmore of KPreps.com and Chet Copeland of Sports in Kansas, I'm Sean Boston saying so long and enjoy week one of the high school football season. You've been listening to the Kansas Kickoff Show.
You've been listening to the Kansas Kickoff Show, powered by KPreps.com and Sports in Kansas.
Welcome to the Hutchinson Salt Hawk Football Pregame Show. We'll give you the ins and outs of tonight's game, plus lots of other useful or useless information. It's all in how you look at it. Now, settle back and get set to enjoy this week's Hutchinson Salt Hawk Football Pregame Show.
Well, welcome to the Salt Hawk Football Pregame Show, brought to you by the Medicine Shop at 14th and Main in Hutchinson, Kansas. The Medicine Shop, best little secret in Hutchinson. Stop in there before the game or on Saturday and take advantage of some great prices that they have at the Medicine Shop. One of our best sponsors that we have for athletics in Hutchinson. I'm Glenn Grunwald, your host this evening, and joined by Dan Nacarado. And again, it's a pretty night out there, Dan. It's ready for football season open for 2021.
Hello, everyone. It's a great night for football.
Yeah, I knew you were going to come up with that again, as it's a great night for football. And yes, it is. And last season was a great season for football for the defending. That's a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Defending Ark Valley Chisholm Trail Division I champion, the Hutchinson Salt Hawks. And they are now off to defend their championship from last year. But we're missing a few key players that went on through graduation. And also, we're going to match up against Valley Center coming up in just a little bit. But let's just look back on last year. What a great, great year it was.
8-2. When you can win 8 football games in a high school football season, that's getting something done. And what you and I and so many Salt Hawk football fans appreciated was the nature of how those 8 football games were won, many of them very close. When you look at the final season statistics, Hutchinson averaging 32.7 points a game, opponents averaging 27.8, yet Hutchinson 8-2. That just is a big tribute to the toughness and the grittiness of those Hutchinson Salt Hawk football players last year.
Everything aligned just right. The close games, our defense would step up and get the stop. Many games went within the last 1 minute of play, such as that Garden City win that we were talking about earlier this week at lunch. So it's just made for a perfect season. He had some kids step up, like Miles Thompson, who's graduated now. That was his first really year of organized football. He took to it like a duck in water, I should say. Did a great job. McEwen had a great season, 1,800-yard rusher. But we got some young Salt Hawks this year that are ready to step up as well. But looking back on last year, just for a couple more minutes here, boy, did we ever have some great wins. It started with that 21-13 win over Valley Center. That was in Valley Center. Take us back 1 year, Dan. Remember, that's when the COVID hit. We're in the same situation with the variant right now, with the Delta variant. But at the same time, we only had a limited number of fans that could come to that game. They were forced to listen to you and I on the radio, which, in my opinion, that's not a bad thing. But that's the way the whole season went, and we really appreciate people tuned in. For those that want to know, the stream toward the end of the year was hitting like 5,000 viewers Friday night, and that was outstanding for us. But this year, a little bit different thing. Still kind of open. Probably going to have to be social distancing and be aware of and cognizant of your surroundings and wear a mask. But I think everybody's going to be able to come and see some football.
And speaking of the stream, where can people find it?
They can go to HutchPost.com. That's the easiest way. We put it on the Hutch Post YouTube channel, and then we embed it on the Facebook Hutch Post Sports, Hutch High Sports on the Facebook, and you can get it there. Or like I said, you can go to Hutch. We'll have it up on HutchPost.com under the sports section.
And the beauty of it is you can go back and look at it later if you'd like to. So if you happen to miss it while it's live, it'll be there, and you can go back and take a look.
Plus, in case you missed it, earlier tonight, starting at 6 o'clock, was the Kansas kickoff show brought to you by K-Preps and Kansas Pregame, which is kind of a syndicated show that we air, and you can only get it here locally on KWBW Radio. And those guys do a great job. So if you missed it this week, tune in next week. It'll be right around 6:05 where it starts off, and it precedes us in this broadcast with the pregame show. But I'm excited. I'm ready to get going. Hey, we have a new cameraman person this year. All right, Sarah Peterson graduated, so she's a student of yours at Hutch Community College. But her little brother, Matthew, he goes by Matt because he's 14. He says Matt, and the H-E-W is silent. He's going to be taught how to do the video, so you'll be seeing him. And he'll get better as the year progresses, but this is his debut tonight as well.
Way to go, Matt. You're going to have a great time with Salt Hawk football, and we're glad you're with us.
Last year was special. catch up with the Salt Hawks, 8-2, marched right on through. Got a great win over Mays to lock up the league championship, and then bowed to defeat to a very good Bishop Carroll team. But we start the same year off this year by taking on Valley Center. We're going to talk about more about Valley Center and these new Blue Salt Hawks that have lost some players from last year, but we'll get to talking about those in just a little bit. We're going to take a time out, Dan, after we hear this from the Medicine Shop. We'll be back right after this.
With Hutch Drugs closure, the Medicine Shop has been busy accommodating many of their customers. Whether you're a former Hutch Drug customer or a customer at another drugstore, the Medicine Shop works hard to provide a smooth transition when transferring your medications. Let us know and we can transfer your entire prescription profile. The Medicine Shop has several knowledgeable pharmacists and technicians to make your drugstore experience pleasant. Call or come by the Hutchinson Medicine Shop to make the Medicine Shop your pharmacy. The Medicine Shop in Midtown Hutch.
Hutchinson High School Sports is on air thanks to these outstanding Salt Hawk boosters. The Medicine Shop, Portfolio Recovery Associates, Hayden's & Co. Salon and Beyond, American Family Insurance Agent Travis Rodenbaugh, APAC Shears, Pools Plus, First National Bank, Next Tech Wireless, the Summit of Hutchinson with Doctors Lowen and Severud, Prairie Star Health Center, Ashcraft Pharmacy, Axel's Taxi, and Edward Jones Financial Advisor William Thacker. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back to segment 2 of the Hutchinson Salt Hawk football pregame show, brought to you and powered by the Medicine Shop, 14th and Main in Hutchinson. Rick Stone and the gang, great supporters of all athletics throughout the area, and specifically they have been a Hutch High supporter for a long, long time. Thanks, Rick and the gang, for all that you do for this community, especially still with vaccines and things like that that are coming out. So let's talk about who we lost. We mentioned Miles Thompson, we mentioned McEwen, and we also lost a pretty good linebacker in Jack Hopper, and also Barlow, a pretty good little running back in Barlow. And so we lost some things, Dan, but at the same time, that's what's great about high school football. You got somebody else that steps up and gets ready to be the star. And we got a couple in the making here on this Salt Hawk team.
It's the nature of high school football. You can't keep them forever. Unfortunately for us fans, they graduate and they move on, and we wish them well. And we did have a very impressive senior class last year on the 2020 Salt Hawk football team. If I remember right, there were 30 seniors. We had
30, so we're down a little bit from that number.
Not quite as many. There were 18 seniors on the team this year, but they're a high-quality group of 18 young men, and we expect very big things from Salt Hawk football in 2021.
We really do. Let's talk about the young man by the last name of Hogan that has really had a good summer. Zach Hogan has had a good summer of working out at different combines. He's starting to get some pretty good looks from some four-year schools, and he kind of made the best of the summer by working out, getting a little stronger, getting a little bigger. And I know I always followed him on Facebook, and he was at Iowa State. He was up at K-State. He was all over the place. Did the Jake Sharp performance gig up in Salina, and I think this young man's going to have a heck of a fall season.
Zach Hogan loves football, and it's fun to watch him play. He does carry the ball from the fullback position, and he will get the ball frequently. When he's not playing fullback, he might move over to the slot back position, because that's kind of been a little bit of a trend the last couple of years where players move around a little bit in the backfield and at wide receiver, and the team just moves them around where they think they can help them the most on any given play. So Zach Hogan is flexible. He's fast. He's strong. He's tough. He has good hands, and he's a smart football player.
Let's talk about the quarterback position, the key, and you were very impressed last year with Miles Thompson on how he adapted to a tough offense to be able to learn in just 1 year. Now we got the luck of a couple quarterbacks that have been in the system a little bit. Both have different strengths, and I'm talking about Nick Lang and also Kokar.
It's nice to have two young men that can do a quality job at the quarterback position, and that's what the Salt Hawks have this year. Chances are both of those players will be on the field when Hutchinson has the ball. One of them will be at quarterback, and the other one will either be at wide receiver or a slot position. Chances are Noah Kokar will probably take most of the snaps at quarterback tonight. If you remember back from years ago when Hutchinson was in the state championship game every year, we had a player named Devion Dinwiddie who was electric, fast, could change directions on a dime at full speed. That's the kind of runner Noah Kokar is, but he can also throw it. So we expect some big plays. Don't be surprised if you hear Glenn Grudwald calling some 65-yard touchdown plays this season with that kind of speed in the backfield.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to what Kokar is going to be able to do. He's going to be speedier. I've heard 4.42 40.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good type of thing. So if he can get into the open field, and that's the key, he's going to have some blocking up front. And Coach Vernon indicates he thinks our offensive line is going to start to get to be pretty good by as soon as we get playing football here.
That's right. And Kokar is the type player that even if things look kind of dicey, for example, let's say Hutchinson calls a pass play and the receivers are covered, he's the kind of guy that can just run it and scramble and make something out of nothing.
He's got some turbos in those legs that can get going and going quickly. Let's look on the other side of the ball. Big loss, both Harvard graduating. You got Ben Patterson back there. Can he pick up the load?
Well, Ben Patterson is a high-quality linebacker. He'll be at the Eagle linebacker if you're familiar with Salttalk lingo. He wears number 10. He is a senior this year. He has grown each year. I want to say he's about 6'1" right now, and I see him around town, and some guys you can just tell they're athletes, and that's the kind of guy Ben Patterson is.
How about our cornerbacks and our safeties? We got some strength back there.
The secondary is going to be one of the best secondaries in the entire state of Kansas. When you look at the free safety position of Kinzer Newquist, you've got Devin Hackney back there at another safety position. At a corner, Stephon Hunter is such an impressive young man. We expect big things out of Titan Hennehaw, another one of the Hennehaw men coming on board to play Salttalk football. We expect big things from him. So, yes, the linebacker core. Don't forget Nolan Cunningham at the strong safety 9 type position.
Lots of experience.
Oh, my gosh, he is a good one, and he has a nose for the football. And then you've got Noah Ragoza at the Hawk linebacker, who's a good player also.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Mad Dog, I didn't forget about you. We lost you to graduation, but another Hennehaw, like we said, was lost to graduation. But Mad Dog did a great job last year along with Hauver.
Then on that defensive line, look at Braden Rodriguez. He's a junior, but we're very high on him. Aaron Jefferson, Griffin Cook, Landon Dixon. These guys are players. The defense looks strong.
They don't get a lot of practice, but your long snapper, who's going to be Rodriguez, is such an important position. How much time during practice does a long snapper really get work on his art?
You know, that's a part of the game that you rely on players to spend some of their own time after practice, before practice. And you don't set aside a lot of time in practice where they get to do that, especially since he's a defensive tackle and he's spending a lot of time over there at that position. So it's a tribute to Braden's work ethic that he's willing to put in the extra time on his own to go work with the kicker. And the kicker and the punter this year will be a freshman, Tayson Runyon.
Tayson Runyon, you will be hearing us call his name. I hope not a lot. You know what I mean? Because that means we're scoring some. Yeah, maybe for kickoff.
Would be good.
You're right. That would be a good thing. So, we're going to take a quick break again after hear something from the medicine shop, and we'll be back with the keys to the game. Hear him jingling here, Dan. The keys to the game coming your way in segment 3. We'll be back with more on the Hutchinson Salttalk football pregame show right after this.
Get your prescriptions with no hassle at the Little White Castle. You've heard that medicine shop jingle for over 20 years. We know that picking up prescriptions at the drugstore can be challenging. At the medicine shop, we try our best to make your drugstore experience pleasant. With 4 pharmacists and several knowledgeable pharmacy technicians, the medicine shop has the manpower to efficiently accommodate you. So next time you need a prescription with no hassle, try the Little White Castle, the Hutchinson Medicine Shop in Midtown Hutch.
Hutchinson High School sports is on air thanks to these outstanding Salttalk boosters. The Medicine Shop, Portfolio Recovery Associates, Hayden's & Co. Salon and Beyond, American Family Insurance Agent Travis Rodenbaugh, APAC Shears, Pools Plus, First National Bank, Next Tech Wireless, the Summit of Hutchinson with Drs. Lowen and Severud, Prairie Star Health Center, Ashcraft Pharmacy, Axel's Taxi, and Edward Jones Financial Advisor William Thacker. Thanks for listening.
You hear that? That's my keys. Dan, that means it's time for Coach Snack's keys to the game, and we take on Valley Center, who have gotten better. 2019, matter of fact, their coach is in his 4th year, just like Coach Vernon is at the helm at Valley Center. They were 5-4 last year. They play in the Ark Valley Chisholm Trail Division II, and they lost a lot of players. Dan, they lost 11 players, I believe you told me. So they've got some roles to fill out, and they got a lot of guys that are going to be going both ways. So will the resilience of the Hutchinson defense and offense, making that offense and defense work for those guys going both ways, be a big key to this game?
Excellent observation, Glenn, and that is one of the keys to the game. Which team will be able to make in-game adjustments? Because week 1, you have a lot of question marks on any team, the first game of the season. So week 1 may be more important than any other game of the year as far as how do you make adjustments during the game. Things that you thought were going to work well, maybe they're not working. Things that you thought you might try but didn't really know, maybe those are the things that carry you through. Valley Center has 5 different players starting on both offense and defense.
That's a lot.
A lot of people immediately assume the problem with that is fatigue. In my opinion as a coach, the bigger problem is you can't assemble the entire offense on the sideline when the other team has the ball to make adjustments. You can't assemble the entire defense on the sideline while your offense is out on the field because some of your players are going both ways. So you should give an edge to Hutchinson, who doesn't start any player both ways, should give the edge to Hutchinson as far as the ability to make in-game adjustments tonight.
And it could be interesting. Plus, Hutchinson returns a lot of players from last year's championship team.
They do. They, I believe, have 13 Letterman or 13 starters back on this year's team. I think 7 on offense.
And 21 Letterman back.
Yeah, 21 Letterman. So it is a seasoned program, and Coach Vernon now has hit full stride. He's got his weight room program working. He's very happy with the strength of this Hutchinson Saltdock team. So even though you'll see some players that maybe aren't quite as big on the Saltdock's side of the field, they're fast and they're strong and they're competitors.
And he's got some experience.
They do have some experience.
You got a young man for Valley Center, that is a running back by the name of Cameron Kaufman. Now, really misleading to some extent. 38 carries last year, 98 yards. He was injured, had 1 TD, but he's going to be the main one carrying the football for them this year. So that inexperience there, and I'd have to give that keys to the game nod also to Hutchinson. Plus, we don't know what they have at quarterback because the quarterback is left. We do know what we have in Kokar and even Nick Lang, so a little bit of an edge there.
That's right, because Kokar got quite a bit of action last year as a sophomore. He's a proven player. Nick Lang, we also know, is very competent. At quarterback for the Valley Center Hornets, we have a Hutchinson connection. Hank Waylu is the starting quarterback as a sophomore this year. Hank's grandfather is Ron Sellers, a name that many people know in Hutchinson, Kansas. He is the nephew of Sam Sellers, Abby Sellers. Abby Sellers is his mom, Abby Waylu now. And John Sellers, who played quarterback, was one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Kansas.
Luminous Neon is well represented.
They are well represented, and there is a Hutchinson connection. And I have had the chance to visit with Hank on several occasions, and he's a fine young man, and we wish him well.
One of the differences between this Valley Center team, they lost a lot of close ball games, its ability to be able to close games out. We were one of those. It was a one touchdown game, 8 points basically, 6 points and a 2-point conversion could have tied that one up and made it very interesting. So that's one of the things that the head coaches have talked about. I'd have to say one edge I would give to Valley Center is probably maybe their special teams.
Well, Hutchinson has a freshman kicker and punter, and whenever you put a freshman into varsity football action, it takes a while.
Yeah.
That's right. You have to wait and see how it goes. And I better give a shout-out to Ann Sellers, too. I don't want to leave Hank's grandmother out of the mix tonight. We think the world of Ann. But one of the other keys, you talked about how close that game turned out to be last year against Valley Center. A big reason it was so close is Hutchinson had a couple of miscues where they fumbled the ball, turned it over, and Valley Center capitalized on points.
And that key to the game could go either way.
That's right.
So we'll watch there.
I think certainly from a Hutchinson-Salttalk offense point of view, a key to the game is take care of the football.
Okay, so let's talk about Hutchinson's key to the game. Take care of the football is one of them.
Take care of the football, adapt to things, and make adjustments during the game. I think those are probably the two most critical keys for tonight's game. And we're pretty sure the Salttalk defense is going to be pretty impressive this year, but you never know. If the other team can't score, pretty hard to win a game if you can't score. So if that Salttalk defense turns out to be as good as we think they're going to be, my gosh, could be a fun season.
So also, again, experience, we talked about it, rushing. Noah Kokar last year, 47 carries, 407 yards. Passing and receiving, Noah Kokar, 11 receptions, 207 yards. Newquist had 81 tackles last year. Ben Patterson, 71. That's defensively big time. Also sacks. Nolan Cunningham had 3 picks. Hackney had 2 key interceptions. Hutchinson found a way to win last year. That was what was so exciting to me, and that was the key to the game of having that, what do you want to call it, Dan? Moxie, maybe?
Yeah, Coach Vernon likes to call it grit.
Grit, to be able to get it done. And boy, did we ever last year. And that first game against Valley Center was one of them. Our defense had to step up and close it out, and that they did. So that is your keys to the game. We're going to get set for the opening kickoff coming up in just a little bit. This has been the Medicine Shop pregame show brought to you by the Medicine Shop in Hutchinson. We'll be back as this pregame show will continue, but live from Gowan Stadium. We'll see what the weather's going to do and kind of take a look at the field conditions as Dan and I'll have an opportunity to go down on the field and talk a little bit with Coach Vernon before the game and kind of get his perspective and be able to pass along coming up in just a little bit. So, Dan, we're getting set and getting ready to go.
Thank you for letting me come along for the ride, Glenn, and all our listeners. We appreciate you.
Looking forward to it. Don't forget also next week, tune in before the Hutchinson-Salttalk pregame show for the Kansas kickoff show. That'll start right around a little after 6 each and every week. That's sponsored by Post Plus as well as First National Bank. You'll be glad to hear all the insight that we have from across the nation. We'll be up across the state. We'll be back with more coming your way right after this. And we'll go to Gowan Stadium. We'll be back right after this.
Thanks for listening to the Hutchinson-Salttalk football pregame show. Join us 30 minutes prior to each and every Salttalk game each week throughout the entire football season. Kickoff is just minutes away, so stay tuned, and thanks again for listening.
Hi, this is Nick Gosnell. Join me Friday nights after Hutch High football for the Friday Night Scoreboard Show. I'll recap scores from around the state of Kansas. The Friday Night Scoreboard Show brought to you by Next Tech Wireless and APAC Shears Division on BW Radio.
It's time for Hutchinson-Salttalk Sports on BW Radio. The Salthawks are brought to you in part by First National Bank, H&R Block, Pools Plus, Next Tech Wireless, APAC Shears, and the Medicine Shop. Also thanks to these Salttalk boosters, Hayden & Company, the Summit of Hutchinson with Doctors Lowen and Severud, and American Family Insurance agent Travis Rodenbach. Now your host for Salttalk Sports, Glenn Grunwald.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Gowan Stadium. I'm Glenn Grunwald, joined by Dan Nacarado. So glad to have you along on this Friday night, and we're set for some football. Got to keep the rain away, Dan, but we're going to get it going.
It's a great night for football, and if we get a little bit of rain, we can handle that. We just definitely don't want any lightning.
Yep, keep the lightning away. So we come off, as we just talked about on the pregame, a Cinderella season, so to speak, last year, 8-2. Camp Ark Valley Chisholm Trail League Championship for Division I football, and got into the playoffs, and a very good Bishop Carroll team defeated us in that endeavor, but ended up 8-2. What a great season it was. A fun time, and here we are starting another season and have great expectations.
Can't remember a season where the Salttalks had more close games that they found ways to win. When you look back at that season last year, I believe there were 5 games that were very nip and tuck all the way till the end, and Hutchinson came out on top on those 5.
And this opponent for the night was one of those games. We talked about that in the pregame. We took a pretty good lead at Valley Center, and then they started coming back and made it interesting. 21-13 was the final. final, but we did have to have a little defensive stand to be able to stop and get it done. And then we traveled to Garden City and got another tight win. And like you said, it just kept happening after week. And then we did not play Derby due to the COVID-19 breaking out with Derby. And then we were still able to go on and take care of business. Our only other loss was to Andover in the season. And of course, Bishop Carroll. And by the way, Bishop Carroll played last night and looked pretty doggone good against Northwest.
Wichita Northwest ranked number 1 preseason, and they were at home. Wichita Northwest had the home field advantage, but Bishop Carroll went across town and won that game 37-27. Big third quarter out of Bishop Carroll. And when you look at last year's Salt Hawks again, the first 5 games of the season all decided by less than one score or less. And Hutchinson came out on top on the first 4 and then dropped that 5th game of the season to Andover 14-7.
What a difference a year makes. This year we do have fans. Now we have a scattering of fans, kind of social distancing on their own. We've gotten used to that in the last 12 months as COVID has raised its ugly head with the variant happening again. And just a little bit different. Last year they really limited only 2 tickets per player, and that forced a lot of listeners to listen to us, which was a good thing. And as I mentioned on the pregame broadcast regarding the stream, we had some terrific numbers, and that will continue, I know, this year already. Because if you are listening by radio and watch it on the stream and happen to be at home, you can go to HutchPost.com. Just go to the sports section. You'll see live TV, and you can click on the link. That'll take you right to the YouTube page for Hutch Post, and also it's on the Facebook page for Salt Hawk Sports Network as well. And that'll get you there. Or also download the KWW app and carry it with you on your phone. You can listen to the game that way. It's a little delayed, but you can still listen to it. And also you can go to HutchPost.com app and download it and listen to it that way. You can just go to Salt Hawk Sports, and that's kind of easy to do. So we appreciate having everybody along, however you're listening to us across the great state of Kansas tonight. So I hope people enjoyed the Kansas kickoff show. Dan, you and I like that because it kind of lets you know what's going on football all across the state.
Glenn, you're constantly making improvements. Every week you're making improvements and throughout the year, and I think that pregame show is a nice improvement. It's Friday nights from 6 o'clock until the end of Nick Gosnell's scoreboard show, about a half hour or so after the end of Salt Hawk football.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we will start Nick Gosnell's scoreboard show directly following the Hutch High broadcast. So they'll be in action, and Nick will be getting scores from all across the state. So as you drive home, if you're at the ball game, you can tune in and see what all the scores are from different broadcasters all across the state. And Nick will go down the AP roll on that. And, of course, we'll have it available tomorrow morning on HutchPost.com as well. There's the Salt Hawks as they make their appearance onto the field. We're going to take a 1-minute timeout, come back and get set for your kickoff coming your way tonight. Again, glad to have you along. It's Hutchinson versus Valley Center. We'll be back in 1 minute. Valley Center, we'll be back in 1 minute.
The medicine shop, when you drop your prescriptions off, the personal care you'll find there will make you feel all better. The meds you need, delivered with speed, the lowest price guaranteed. Get your prescriptions with no hassle at 14th and Main at the Little White Castle. You'll feel all better at the medicine shop.
You deserve a patient-centered medical home. You deserve Prairie Star, with health care held to a higher standard, offered by compassionate primary care providers who actually listen to your concerns. Because at Prairie Star, it's all about you. That commitment to our patients has earned us numerous national quality care awards year after year. Prairie Star Health Center, 30th and K61 in Hutchinson.
Welcome back, everybody, to Gowan Stadium. We're about a minute away from kickoff for 2021 season, and we'll get going against the Valley Center Hornets and the Salt Hawks of Hutchinson. And, Dan, I'm going to congratulate you and Mrs. Nacarado, Jean, your wife, on you've had a couple new grandbabies in the family since the last time we signed off.
Thank you very much. Amelia was born to Luke and Molly up in the Kansas City area back in January, and then June the 1st, Nellie Ray, Kylie, and Gil Raywinkle gave birth to a very lovely young daughter that we're very proud of.
Yeah, and she's already been camping and everything else going on, hasn't she? So
they lead an active life.
Exactly. So congratulations to you and Jean and all the grandkids, and it's fun to be a grandpa. I tell you that, I enjoy it immensely, and you'll be blessed for a lot of years, my friend.
Thank you. And speaking of being a grandpa, in the pregame we talked about Ron Seller's grandson playing quarterback, Hank Welu. I'm sorry that I mispronounced his last name during the pregame show. It's Welu, spelled W-E-L-U. Unfortunately, Hank is not going to be available tonight due to some health issues, so we won't get to see Hank play quarterback for Valley Center tonight.
Hey, it looks like Hutchinson's won the toss. We'll defer to the second half, so we'll see what Valley Center's going to do. They're going to receive, and they will defend the goal to the south, so they'll be going right to left on your TV. I just got a message from Big Max that he's watching on the big screen back at home. Max Bringle. He'll anchor down the Saturday morning portion of the KWW Morning Show tomorrow morning, so tune in at 6 o'clock to hear the fantastic pipes of Max Bringle as he'll bring you scores across the state of Kansas as well. And Nick Gosnell will have a sports report for him as well tomorrow morning. You can catch it all right on 1450 AM and as well as 98.5 FM. Some other scores, state games around the state. I know Haven and Heston started early. I think there's a couple other games that started early. Worrying about I think Buhler started at 6:30. Worrying about the weather. So far, it's holding off. Doesn't mean it's going to, but a good group of fans on tap tonight for this ball game.
It's definitely a great night for football if the weather holds the way it is right now. It's not very windy. It's dry. And it's not as hot as what it's been earlier in the week.
Just a perfect night for football. Glenn Grunwald, your host tonight, along with Dan Nacarado. Matt Peterson's on the camera along with his sister Sarah, who's doing the training job for the next couple of weeks. He's a freshman at Hutch High, and he will be on the stream. So you got to blame Matt if anything goes wrong. And he's having a crash course right now. So we are getting set to kick off, and they're going to toe the football. Hutchinson will kick it off, and here we go. And it's going to be taken by one of the up-backs at about the 12-yard line for the Valley Center Hornets, and a big corral tackle right there. Great job coming out of there by the Salt Hawks. Nolan Cunningham making his presence known very quickly, Dan, as he brought the runner down quickly. They're going to mark it right at the 16-yard line.
Nolan Cunningham is an outstanding tackler. He has a nose for the football. As we mentioned in the pregame, 3 interceptions last year. He's one of those players that makes Salt Hawk football so impressive.
All right, so breaking huddle now will be Valley Center. They're in their white uniforms with dark purple numerals and white helmets. Blue Dragons in their top blues, white pants, and blue helmets. And we're set now to get set. Valley Center with the first snap of the ball game. Down under center will be the quarterback back there, which will be Brett Turner. Turner wants to give the ball away straight ahead running and a pickup of a couple yards. And we talked about this young man. Cameron Kaufman carries it forward, Dan, for a pickup of about 2 to 3 yards. Be a second down and 6.
Aaron Jefferson made the tackle from his defensive line position.
So they huddle up back there behind Cameron, with Cameron Kaufman in there behind Brett Turner. Brett Turner, the quarterback, listed on the program as a fullback, so he's been pressed into a quarterback role. They'll break huddle, and they'll set up. Ball is right at after a pickup of just a couple past the 20 up to about the 22-yard line. Here's the snap, the pitch back, and there's Kaufman. He'll turn the corner on the right side. He'll be met by 3 different Salt Hawks short of the 25-yard line. So a pickup of 3 yards on that carry brings up a third down in a short situation.
When you force a different player to come in on short notice to play quarterback in a varsity high school football game, you're probably going to try to grind it out and run the ball as many times as you can. Keep the clock running, grind out yards, try to move the sticks, and keep possession.
Eagle linebacker is going to be Ben Peterson. The Hawk linebacker is going to be Noah Ragoza. And you're going to be calling their names, or we will be, a lot tonight. Turner, the quarterback, down under center. Turns, wants to throw the football, goes to the right side. A catch is made over there. Did he stretch to get the first down? He say he's out of bounds. Incomplete pass. He lost control of it. It'll be 4th down in a punting situation coming up for Valley Center.
Good start to the season for that Salt Hawk defense.
10:25 to go in this first quarter of play. No score as of yet, and now Hutchinson will have an opportunity to return this punt as they'll send a man back deep. And we will be getting set in just a second to get going. That'll be Daniel Hernandez, I believe, back to field the punt. Here comes the punt. There's going to be a fake. He's going to run it, and he will have the first down on the far side, knocked out of bounds by the Salt Hawk Kinzer Newquist. But they went for the fake, and they were able to pick up the first down. So a little gutsy play right there by Valley Center on a 4th down and 3 situation, and it was from the get-go. It was not a busted play. He took it around that right side and picked up the first down.
That was the senior, Cade Wilson, from the punter position, just taking the long snap and running to his right for the first down yardage.
Yeah, Wilson, a senior, wears number 2. And now they'll have new life, and back in there again is Brett Turner. Ball's going to be just across the 35 up to the 37-yard line. 1st and 10 for Valley Center, the second possession of the game. They'll split a wide out on the right side out. Samuel Bass out there. He's another senior. He splits out wide. And now stoppage of play, and a timeout is going to be taken. Timeout's going to be taken by the Valley Center Hornets. We'll take a timeout as well. We'll be back with more. It's Hornets' second possession. 10:18 to go in the ball game. No score as of yet between Hutchinson and Valley Center. We'll be back right after this 30-second timeout.
If 1040 is your favorite time of day, you've got Tax Pro potential. At H&R Block, you could turn your passion for tax prep and helping people into a career with us. Local classes near you, beginning September 20th in Hutchinson, Lyons, or Ellsworth. Learn more at hrblock.com/beapro. Enrollment in or completion of the H&R Block income tax course is neither an offer nor a guarantee of employment. Enrollment restrictions apply.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Gowan Stadium. Glenn Grunwald, Dan Nacarado, Matt Peterson. So glad to have you along this evening as the timeout was taken. Now, they improved their field position, Dan, all the way up to the 37-yard line. So 1st and 10 now for Valley Center from their own 37.
Give Coach Scott LaCure in his 4th season some credit for rolling the dice a little bit early in this game and faking the punt.
Yeah, they've gotten better every year. 5-4 last season. They give around to Kaufman, gets a block out front across the 40, fumble, picked up, though, by Valley Center. And they'll go put it right back where they were on the 37. So he turned the corner, ball popped loose. Hutchinson was not able to get on top of it.
Devin Hackney, what a fantastic open field tackle. And he jarred the ball loose as he made the tackle. Valley Center able to retain possession, but no gain on the play.
So that'll bring up a 2nd down and 10 situation. As Valley Center breaks huddle. Ball's on the right hash mark, and down in the center, again is Brent Turner. Turner gives it away, straight ahead running, pick up of a couple yards, short of the 40-yard line. They'll mark it officially probably right at about the 38-yard line.
That handoff went to the fullback, number 40, Ethan Vanderweed. He is 5'9", 230. He's a defensive lineman and a fullback. He can be difficult to tackle if he gets those shoulder pads low.
Brings up a 3rd down and about 8 situation. They've got to get to the 47-yard line for the first down. Shotgun formation for the first time tonight for Turner. Back to pass, looks right, goes right. Catch is made out in the flat on that right side. Coming up with the pass, the catch was Cade Wilson, young man who ran for the first down a little while ago. Brings up a 4th down and 3 situation, identical to the last time that they faced this, but in better field position. It'll be 4th down and 3, and let's see if they fake it or not. They've already used that play out of their bag of tricks. I'm not sure.
That was Gabe I who had the coverage, made a nice tackle. He is the starting corner tonight. We weren't sure if he would be available due to an injury, but he's out there.
They're going to punt this football away again. At that time, it's Wilson. He gets a toe into it. All the way down and taken and fumbled by the Salt Hawks all the way they're going to mark it at the 7-yard line. Gutsy move right there by Daniel Hernandez, but he misplayed on the ball. So Hutch will have it deep in their own territory at their own 7-yard line for their first possession of the night. We have a score in Hayes 7, Wichita East nothing. That's in the first quarter of play. I believe that's being played out in Hayes.
That's a ball that you want to just let bounce out of bounds because Daniel Hernandez was well inside his own 10-yard line. The general rule of thumb is if you're inside the 10, you don't back up to try to catch the ball.
All right, Hutchinson deep in their own territory. They officially marked it between the 6 and the 5. So 1st and 10 for the Salthawks now. I'm going to say it's on their 5-yard line. And again, Kokar will be the quarterback. Down under center in that flex bone. Gives it away, straight ahead running right up the middle. No gain on the play. Stopped right at the 5-yard line. And it looked to me like it might have been Hogan on the carry. No gain on the play for his first time to carry the ball.
That was well defended. That was the option. And it was a nice defensive stand plugging the hole by Valley Center.
2nd down and 10 for the Salthawks on their first possession again. 2nd down and 10 on their own 5-yard line. We'll have Kevin Armstrong on at halftime to chat a little about the start of school. They went to a new ticketing system. We'll talk exclusively about that. The turn to give up the middle again. This time it is Hogan. He busts his way all the way out to about the 14-yard line. Short of the first down by about a yard and a half. And it'll bring up a key 3rd down play. Young man has had a great offseason. Several different camps that he went to this year and starred in a lot of them. Gained a lot of praise. Looking forward to having a big ball game. He's got big shoes to fill with McEwen moving on to Hutchinson Community College. 3rd down and short. 3rd and 1. Kokar. The turn to give to Hogan around the left side across the 20. 1st and 10 Blue Dragons, Salthawks. 1st and 10 Salthawks around that left side. I got to thinking about McEwen being on the Blue Dragons staff. I'm looking forward to seeing him play on Saturdays. And they'll move the chains here. 1st and 10 for the Salthawks on the 20-yard line, their own 20.
In week 1 last year, McEwen picked up 149 yards on 25 carries, so it's worth thinking
Let me tell you something.
Of McEwen.
He was a monster last year, and I look forward to Hogan having the same time. They're different type of runners. Hogan's a real bruising runner, so was McEwen. Here's the pitch and stoppage of play as they got the pitch on the outside to Hernandez on the far right, but the flag is dropped right at the 15-yard line, more than likely a procedure call. And I don't think so. I think it's going to be against Valley Center. So they'll move it up to the 25 and give Hutchinson an opportunity here. 1st and 5 from the 25.
That was line judge Zach Shanline, a Hutchinson Blue Dragon graduate. He was president of the Student Government Association last year. And he is already officiating college games, varsity high school games. He's a good official at a young age.
1st and 5 for the Salthawks. Man of motion. Now they'll give it away straight ahead running. Hogan sidesteps one defender and goes forward for the first down to mark it at the 32-yard line. 1st and 10, Hutchinson. So 2 consecutive first downs are moving the chains. Hogan did a nice job of stepping over the defender to pick up a few more yards.
You know, the thing that I always get tickled by is coaches always have one thing in mind, and it sometimes doesn't work out that way. Coach Mike Vernon told us on Wednesday, I'm going to spread the ball around. I don't want Hogan to have to carry it every time. Zach Hogan's carried it every time so far.
All right, now we'll set up. Have a man in the slot. Here comes Hernandez. The motion gets the pitch around the outside. There's going to be an offside penalty. He stops the play early. As it looked to me like we had a Salthawk lining up way off sides. And, guys, you got to look down at the ball and look where you are. And if you're farther downfield, nope, you got to back it up. And I see that from up here.
I think we had one player line up a little bit too far up the field, and I think we had another player go in motion.
In motion early?
Towards the line of scrimmage too early.
Backs it up 5. It'll be 1st and 15. This time they'll mark the football between the 20, about the 26 and 27-yard line. So they'll say to 27. 1st and 15 from the 27 now for the Hawks. Kokar, the quarterback, he is a fast one. He can bust it out himself. He turns, wants to throw the football. First time tonight, throws it outside. Catches, I believe it's going to be incomplete. And didn't know if Hernandez might have been interfered with or not. No indication from the officiating crew, so it'll bring up a 2nd and 15 call.
That was really impressive coverage by Max Preheim. The 5'6" corner was on top of that coverage. If I remember right, his father is the basketball coach at Valley Center and also on the coaching staff for Valley Center Hornet football.
2nd down and 15, again facing the Salthawks. Kokar looks at his arm for the play. Ben will switch out on positions. go with the lone setback. That's Hogan. Kokar down in the center. Busted play. He wanted to pitch it, and all of a sudden nobody was there. Now Kokar on the outside will lose a couple yards. It'll bring up a third down at about 17 or 18. Looked to me like it was a busted play. He turned around and nobody was there, and he knew he had to run with the football himself.
It was definitely a busted play. And sometimes this season on those type of plays, you'll see Kokar break them loose. But that time Valley Center had 5 defensive players that it was just impossible for him to escape.
Yeah, he went to the short side of the field. I think he might have been better if he switched around and get to the outside, use his speed to gain some momentum. Right now he's facing a 3rd down and 17. Big play right here. Do you try to get it all on one? Or do you go with maybe a screen or something like that? Wants to throw the football. Another broken play. This time there's a fumble, but Hutchison gets on it as Hogan was able to come up and get on the fumble to bring up a 4th down and punting situation for the Salt Hawks. The first possession not looking very good for the Hawks, but they'll have to punt the football away, and Valley Center should get pretty good field position out of this.
Salt Hawk fans won't be happy with that series because a couple of penalties pushed them back, and then 2 plays in a row. Chaos in the backfield with not everyone on the same page.
Clock moving along with 3:56 to go in the first quarter of play. No score as of yet between Valley Center and Hutchinson. Hutchinson gets out quickly. They're going to punt the football away. It's going to be Kokar doing the punting duties. He gets the snap, and now he'll put it up off his toe. Nice punt, carried back. It's going to be caught back there all the way back by, again, coming up with it will be Wilson. And he carries for a pretty nice return all the way back short of the 50-yard line. Let's see exactly where they're going to mark it. It'll be 1st and 10 for Valley Center. As soon as we see and indicate where they're going to mark it, it's going to be very close to the 50-yard line. So they'll mark it right at the 50, 1st and 10 for Valley Center.
3:36 to play in the first quarter. There is no score.
Third possession now for Valley Center. Got a first quarter score. Eudora 6, Baldwin nothing, DeSoto 15, Turner nothing. Some other scores coming in.
Let's call it the second possession because they maintain possession on the fake punt.
You're right. And it will be the second possession. This one's on the 50. So their first was on the 16. On the fake punt, took them up to the 37. Then they had to kick the ball away. Back to pass. Again, that's going to be Turner. Turner wants to throw the ball. Has a receiver out there, incomplete, just off the hands of his main intended receiver, Cade Wilson. He threw to Wilson about 3 times tonight. That one was incomplete. 2nd down and 10. But why not? When you're at midfield, you have an opportunity to air it out. This might open up a little bit more of a running game for his running back, Kaufman.
Brett Turner had to pay the price for holding on to the ball as long as he did before he threw it because Salt Hawk Griffin Cook leveled him as he was releasing the ball.
Here we go. 2nd down and 10. Turner, the quarterback for the Valley Center Hornets, down in their center. Turns, pitches it back to Kaufman around the right side, and he's going to be met by 2 different defenders for the Salt Hawks. Forward momentum takes him forward a couple of yards. It will be a 3rd down and 8 call.
That was Noah Ragoza and Dorian Hippen making the stop, and it was an impressive convergence on the ball carrier because it appeared he had some room to run.
Halftime score from Heston and Haven. Heston 45, Haven nothing.
Ooh.
Heston's got a good club this year. They're putting a shellacking right now on the Wildcats. 3rd down and 8. Ball's on the Hutchinson 48-yard line for Valley Center. They run up quickly to the ball, get set to snap it. Back in the shotgun situation now. Here's Turner, Brett Turner. Gets the ball. Actually, they handed it off to Kaufman, and he goes forward for another couple yards. Little or no gain, excuse me. I thought he picked up 2, but not there. They'll mark it right at the 48 again. So a 4th down punting situation again, facing, again, the Valley Center Hornets.
Salt Hawk defense looks strong. Valley Center has to be happy because, let's be honest, Hutchinson is the favorite in this football game.
Sure, you bet.
And here we are with 2 minutes to play in the first quarter, and no one has scored yet.
2:16 to be exact. No score as of yet. High snap. Coming down with it will be Wilson. He gets the punt away. This time it's going to be taken by Hutchinson. Hernandez around the right side was 1 step away and finally peels off and is brought down about the 22-yard line. Just about broke the tackle. It'll be Hutchinson's second possession. This time it'll be a bit better than the last one. This will be on the 21. Hutchinson was able to stretch 2 first downs out of that first possession, but then started having some problems, including just about fumbling the ball away.
That's one of the keys to victory. Take care of the football.
Mm-hmm. So Kokar just needs to settle down. 2 busted plays that looked like you and me back-to-back that happened, and that's early season football, so to speak. Kokar will step up under center. Gets the hike, gives it again to Hogan. Hogan barrels his way across the 25 and musters it all the way up to the 29. Nice job by Zach Hogan. He's 3 yards short of the first down, so it will be a 2nd down and 3.
Not a bad idea to just keep feeding the fullback, Zach Hogan, the ball, because when the Hutchinson did that, they were picking up yards.
We jokingly were talking with Coach Vernon about that game out in Garden City with Hover coming out of linebacker into the fullback spot, and they just giving him ball. But the numbers on audible. It was supposed to go to him again for the touchdown, but Miles Thompson took it in himself. Give on the outside. Kokar with a nice pitch out to Hernandez. He's met right at the 37-yard line, dropped there, but not before he got a first down. Nice job by Hernandez. He ran right into the defender. They'll mark it at the 37, 1st and 10, Hutchinson.
That's well executed. Flexbone option football. You talked about Jack Hover. He's coaching at the middle school level with the program.
That's awesome.
This season. Glad to see him do that.
Nick Lang, which many thought would be the starting quarterback, is out a wide receiver spot on that right side. He wears number 16. We'll probably see him quarterbacking sometime this season. So wideouts left and right for the Salt Hawks. Kokar down under center. Sends a man in motion. Wants to throw the football. He's back. Goes around on the left side. Gets away from a defender. Has some room to run. He's on his way. It's across the 40. Up to the 45. Tackled and thrown out of bounds just short of the 50-yard line. I'll mark it at the 48 to be official. I thought there might have been a horse collar on that, but no call made. But that's another thing you're going to see. Kokar's not going to stay in the pocket very long, according to Coach Vernon. If he has some daylight, they're going to let him run.
Anytime Noah Kokar has open field, expect him to take advantage of it. We just saw it on that play.
Now, this drive started at Hutchinson on 21. It's up to the 48 right now. 1st and 10, Hutch.
Might be the last play of the first quarter.
It might be. 21 seconds to go in first quarter of action. Kokar down under center. Gets set. Sends a man in motion. Gets the snap. Wants to hand off the football. There goes Zach Hogan down the sideline and high steps it out of bounds at about the 29. And that will be stop the clock with 8 seconds to go. And Hutchinson's deep in Valley Center territory. What a nice job by Hogan to turn that corner with some speed and rock it all the way down. They'll mark it right at the 29-yard line.
Hutchinson offense is clicking right now.
So that is a 23-yard pickup, his largest of the night. And they'll get set. Will they start that? No, they won't, because it went out of bounds, won't they? Well, they have to go on the snap count. 8 seconds to go in the quarter. No scores of yet.
In college, the clock would have restarted, but not in high school.
Kokar down in the center, sends a man in motion, comes back, keeps it himself, wants to pitch it. He'll keep it himself, has some room. He's across the 25, all the way down to 20. He's stopped there, but a first down for the Salt Hawks as we will finish up the first quarter of play. We'll take 1 minute timeout. No scores of yet, but Hutchinson pounding on the door deep in Valley Center territory. We'll be back with more from Gowan Stadium in 60 seconds.
Hutchinson High School Sports is on air thanks to these outstanding Salt Hawk boosters. The Medicine Shop, Portfolio Recovery Associates, Hayden's & Co. Salon and Beyond, American Family Insurance Agent Travis Rodenbaugh, APAC Shears, Pools Plus, First National Bank, Next Tech Wireless, the Summit of Hutchinson with Doctors Lowen and Severud, Prairie Star Health Center, Ashcraft Pharmacy, Axel's Taxi, and Edward Jones Financial Advisor William Thacker. Thanks for listening.
Need to send someone money? Pay a babysitter? Split the bill? Use FirstPay. It is the person-to-person payment option located right inside your online banking app. There is no need to download an additional application. It is simple, safe, and secure. We're first for you. Visit fnbhutch.bank to learn more, or click on your First National Bank app to get started. You can also stop into a location nearest you, and we're happy to help. First National Bank of Hutchinson, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Welcome back to Gowan Stadium. Glenn Rumdahl, Dan Nacarado, Matt Peterson, as well as Sarah Peterson on the video tonight. And Hutchinson with some electric work right there. That first possession was, quite frankly, for Hutchinson back in the first quarter, an ugly one. But they were able to get some things rocking and rolling here and got it all the way down deep inside of Valley Center territory at the 16-yard line.
Glenn, you had mentioned about Zach Hogan going to a lot of camps for football over the summer. So did Noah Kokar, and so did right tackle Chase Kepler. Those are 3 excellent football players on this offense.
May South 7, Great Bend nothing. Also Hillsboro. Well, we know that Hillsboro is on top of Nickerson 15-0. There's a carry by Kokar. He reverses, has some room at the 20, 15, 10, dives forward all the way out of bounds at about the 9-yard line is where they're going to mark it. Short of the first down by quite a few yards. It'll bring up a big second down and about 5 situation.
Noah Kokar scrambling, turning something good out of something that wasn't looking good. And Cooper Doobie, the Salthawk center, peeled back and made a fantastic block to spring Kokar.
Again, I mentioned Heston 45, Haven nothing at the half. We'll have, again, Kevin Armstrong, the fine activity and athletic director here at Hutch High. He'll be our halftime guest. 11:13 to go in the second quarter play. Second down to 2, ball on the 9-yard line. The turn to give it to Hogan. He's got some room. He plows all the way down to the 1-yard line. He actually fumbled the ball, but brought it back in at the 1. It'll be a first and goal situation for the Salthawks as they're driving to the north goal line.
In that first quarter, Zach Hogan picked up 57 yards on 6 carries. Hutchinson outgained Valley Center 81 yards to 29. A defensive struggle in the first quarter.
St. Mary's and Colgan going after it. There's nothing tie victorious on top of La Crosse, 22-20. Right here, Salthawks at the goal line, first and goal from the 1. Kokar looks over the defense, looks over his line, offensive line as well, gets down under center, sends a man in motion. There's movement. Will it be a offsides on the Salthawks, or will it be half the distance to the goal? And we will get the indication here in a second. As it looked to me like there might have been movement on that Valley Center offensive line. It will be. It'll be half the distance of the goal, which will be a whole 18 inches.
I've always said when the other team has the ball inside the 1-yard line and it's first and goal, the defense might as well gamble because if they jump off sides, it's a very short penalty.
Had a couple plays that were highlight-worthy in this drive by the Salthawks. Now Kokar under center. Let's see if it's a quarterback sneak or a dive by Hogan. Quarterback sneak. Hogan, check that. Kokar takes it in, and it will be touchdown, Hutchinson. The Salthawks plowed in. Nice job as they took it all the way from their own 21-yard line. Took it right down the field. Got some big plays from Hogan. And there's Kokar with his first touchdown of the season. Salthawks go on top 6-0 with 10:13 to go. Again in this first half of play. We're in the second quarter. So 6-0. Hutchinson will get set for the extra point. As we have a freshman, by the way, kicking the football for Hutchinson. That's Tayson Runyon. Runyon is a freshman. Here's the hole, the kick. It's up and on its way, and it is good. And Hutchinson takes a 7-0 lead with 10:13 to go in the first quarter play over the Valley Center Hornets. We'll take a full 30-second timeout. We'll be back with the kickoff from the Salthawks coming away right after this 30-second timeout.
Need a pharmacy you can rely on? One where they focus on learning your name and your needs? Being the best pharmacy possible, having a friendly and knowledgeable staff, and stocking the products you need is what Ashcraft Pharmacy is all about. Whether it is dry skin, a cough, or runny nose, aches and pains, or something that requires prescription medications, you can count on Ashcraft Pharmacy in South Hutchinson. Stop in, call, pick up curbside, or we'll be happy to deliver. Ashcraft Pharmacy, Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We'll inform you we'll keep the stats as best we can. Our printer's not working over in the booth to the left, so we'll try to get it working before or after halftime, hopefully.
If all else fails, they can take a picture of the computer screen.
Exactly.
And send
that would be a good idea. So Hutchinson will kick off. What an impressive drive. Started on their own 21 and just took it right down the field. Got a couple of big plays, big runs by Hogan. Also some nice job by Kokar out of broken plays to be able to get improvise a bit and get some big yardage, and the Hutch takes a 7-0 lead.
Absolutely. 2 of the big plays on that drive were Noah Kokar just making something out of nothing.
Score was 0-0 at halftime. At the end of the quarter, right now Hutch up 7-0, and will kick the football away, and that's going to be Tayson Runyon putting the toe into it as well. Gets a nice kick, high end-over-end kick. It's going to be taken by Cade Wilson, and straight up the middle running. He's got some room to run. He pops outside. He's still on his feet. He's inside of Salt Hawk territory. One man to beat to take it all the way, and it will. Takes it all the way off the kickoff return, and Mike Vernon said the first thing he said to us yesterday, he was concerned about special teams.
Hutchinson flew down the field pretty well into the coverage, but they overran the kick returner. Was that Cade Wilson?
Yes, it was Wilson, 85 yards.
They overran him, and once he got through that first wave of would-be tacklers, he just outran everybody.
So right now it is 7-6. The point after, they will get set to kick the point after. The young man that will be kicking will be Caden Martin. He's a senior, and he's a right-footed, kicks soccer style. Ball is going to be held by Max Preheim, and busted play, and around the right side is going to be dropped. And Hutchinson will retain the lead at 7-6. We'll await the kickoff coming your way from Valley Center. 9:59 to go in this. Again, the first half of play. We're in the second quarter. It's Hutchinson 7, Valley Center 6. Don't go away. A lot of electrifying plays taking place. We'll be back right after this 30-second timeout for the Valley Center kickoff. Timeout for the Valley Center kickoff.
Forward. Always moving. Never stagnant. Together. Nothing great is ever accomplished without it. At Fee Insurance Group, we've been working side by side with our clients for more than a century. Together with individuals, organizations, and communities, we look ahead to protect the people, places, and things they love. We're Fee Insurance Group. Forward. Together.
Boy, what a big kickoff return. Nice job done by the young senior, Cade Wilson, 5'11", 150. He's a wide receiver, and he's also the punter. But right there, he did it all. He took it at the 15-yard line and headed up the right side, had a busted tackle, and then he just outran a bunch of Salt Hawks right down the sidelines for the touchdown. Luckily, the extra point wasn't any good, so it leaves the Salt Hawks on top 7-6.
The Salt Hawks all stayed in their lanes in the kick coverage, and they ran straight down the field. When Cade Wilson broke one tackle, no one else was there to make the stop.
Here's Martin's kick. It's going to be taken deep. Hogan will watch it go into the end zone, so it'll be a touchback. And Hutchinson will have it with pretty good field position on the touchback. Now mark it right at the, it's going to be at the 20-yard line. So first and 10 for the 20-yard line for the second quarter of action for the Salt Hawks. Salt Hawks scored at the 10-13 mark of the second quarter. Take a 7-0 lead, and now they have it at the 20, so this is where this one will start. So similar to the 21 last time they had the football, drove it right down the field.
Important for Hutchinson to bounce right back and sustain a good offensive drive here.
Dodge City 7, Wichita West 6. It's a close score as well. Inman also on top of Hutchinson Trinity. I'll give you a score on that in a second. Play on the play, loss on the yard brings up second down 11, so nothing on the first play from scrimmage with this possession.
So far in this game, Valley Center is exceeding expectations. Hutchinson does lead it, though, 7-6. 9:30 to play in the second quarter.
Hernandez in that backfield along with Hogan. Kokar still the quarterback. Boy, does he ever have some speed. Love seeing him in the open field. Kokar down in the center, man to motion. That's Hernandez. Gets the pitch on the outside. Goes left side. Up across the 20 to the 25. Caught from behind and thrown out of bounds about the 30-yard line. So a nice 11-yard pickup. Should move the chains depending on the spot.
Great block by the left tackle. Sammy Christians got out there, reached his man, sealed off the edge, gave the Hutchinson Salt Hawks the opportunity to pick up 10 yards.
And I stand corrected. It was 10 instead of 11. I'll mark it at the 29. Third down in a yard. Facing Hutchinson. If you just joined us, first quarter ended scoreless, 0-0. Second quarter, Hutchinson got on the board, took a 7-0 lead, and then we just had an electrifying 85-yard touchdown, a kickoff return by Valley Center, but not able to tie it. It's 7-6 Hutch. Close to the first down. It gets across the 30, and that's going to be, again, Hogan on the carry.
Unfortunately, right guard Daley Van Sickle's helmet came off on that play, so he'll have to sit out a play.
He'll have to come out. He'll move somebody in place of him. But it's a first down for the Salt Hawks at the 30-yard line, their own 30.
Justin Evans will come into the game at right guard.
And send Hernandez over in the slot on that right side.
It's an offensive line that has some speed. I like to see offensive linemen that can move.
Hogan, lone setback. Kokar, the turn to give to Hogan. Hogan has some room across the 30 all the way up to about the 33-yard line.
Team speed, one of the big core competencies, one of the strengths for Salt Hawk football this season. Lots of guys can run fast.
Van Sickle comes back in after setting out one play. They all look at the wrist bands to get the play call. Kokar, the quarterback. Hogan, the lone setback. Zion Burgess over in that right side slot. On the left slot will be, again, Hernandez. He goes in motion. Kokar gets the pitch to him. One man to beat over there. Gets across the 30. Pickup of, no, there was not a pickup of any yards. Loss actually of about a yard and a half. Brings up third down and long for the Salt Hawks.
Very well defended. Everybody did their job on the defensive side of the ball. Everyone has an assignment when you're facing an option offense, and everyone fulfilled their assignment for Valley Center on that play.
7:45 to go. Second quarter of action. 7 for the Hutchinson Salt Hawks, 6 for the Valley Center Hornets. Hutchinson with the football facing a 3rd down and 8 call now to try to keep the possession of the football. They'll split out a wide receiver on the right side. It'll be Kellen O'Sullivan. Last saw him in basketball action. Man in motion. Back to pass. Kokar thought about getting it away, and then gets away from another defender. Then he falls down. A little ago, maybe a yard gain on the play. Thought he was going to pop to the outside. He did not. Pulled the fullback in wisely, and he did pick up only about 1 yard. Looking up 4th down and 8.
People from my generation would say he looks like Fran Tarkenton back there
Just
when he
about
scrambles.
Got that number 7. But thought he just was about thrown for a loss early on, and he started to throw the football, decided to tuck it and run. Didn't get much out of it. He'll punt it away by a snap, and now he's going to have to get it, and he does get it away. High spiral kick, fair catch taken this time by Wilson, and they'll set up shop right at the 33-yard line. So Valley Center with the possession. 6:41 to go in this first half of play. Hutchinson 7, Valley Center 6. It'll be Valley Center's football. Hutch needs to stop here. Trying to get the momentum to push back onto the Salt Hawks side here. Valley Center's kind of picked that up with that kickoff return, Dan. Put a little electricity in their shorts a little bit out there. Doing a good job.
You know, last season, that Valley Center defense only gave up 21 points a game. Valley Center ended the season 5-3, but traditionally, the defense has been pretty good at Valley Center.
They'll split out a wide out on the right side. Back in the shotgun formation is going to be Brett Turner. Turner wears number 8 if you're watching on the stream. Actually, down under center now. He's got Kaufman back there, and he gives it to Kaufman. Kaufman around that left side, and boy, he's going to be racked. Great stop out there by the Salt Hawks. He picked up positive yardage, but Hackney came in and said, hey, I'm going to put a licking on you, and he did.
You remember last season, I felt like Devin Hackney was the best open field tackler I saw all season long through 10 games.
Well, let me tell you something. Kaufman felt that one because he put a stick him on him, and I know there's a grandma down in Texas jumping up and down right now.
It's a form tackle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard to do. I think the hardest thing to do in football is to make an open field tackle, but Devin Hackney, he makes it look easy.
2nd down and 6 now. Ball on the 37 for the Valley Center Hornets. Turner under center. Turns, pitches it back to Kaufman, and he's going to be thrown for a loss. There's a whole host of Salt Hawks coming in right there to make one of the stops out there. Stephon Hunter. He's another one of those safeties we talked about.
Late flag.
So we'll see what that one's all about.
Flag came out after the tackle was made.
I said Hunter was a safety. He's a cornerback, and he came up, did a nice job of getting the stop. Somebody else was in there to kind of hesitate the runner. It's going to be against the Salt Hawks. I'm not sure what took place, and it's a big one, Dan. It's going to carry with it an automatic first down.
Just the way that flag came out from the white hat, way back behind the play, and it was after the tackle was made. It was a gang tackle in the backfield. That usually indicates one of the players said something they should not have said.
Back to up to the 50-yard line. 1st and 10 now for Valley Center. So, again, they're about set to penetrate the Hutchinson side of the field as they head up to the line of scrimmage quickly. Again, down in the center is Turner. He's got Kaufman set up in the eye, and then they got a fullback back there in the person of Ethan Vanderweede.
I think Valley Center might have too many men on the field.
They possibly might have, and that'll back it up 5. So it'll bring up a 1st and 15 from their own 45.
The Hornets had 12 players on the field that play when they came up under center. That's not, you can't do that.
Glenn Grunwald, Dan Nacarado, along with Matt Peterson on the stream. Sarah Peterson doing some training to her younger brother. And Matt will carry the torch now for probably the next 4 years as he's a freshman at Hutch High.
Coach him up, Sarah. Coach him up.
1st and 15 now for Valley Center. Brett Turner, the quarterback. So far, a nice substitute to give to Kaufman. He's met at the line of scrimmage and then thrown back a yard. Then he surges forward for a pickup of 5.
Wow.
So I'm not sure where they're going to set that. They're going to go with the second record, just a little less than 5. They'll mark it at the 49.5-yard line. 2nd down and a long 11.
Noah Ragoza from his linebacker position made very impressive initial contact. It was quite a collision. And then a couple of other Salthawks came to finish up the play. But Cameron Kaufman he's one of the best around. He found a way to stay on his feet and pick up some yards.
2nd down, we'll call it 10.5. Ball's on the 49.5-yard line of Valley Center. Again, Turner the quarterback. 7-6 ball game. Hutchinson with the lead by 1. 4:51 to go in his second quarter of play. Might have been a busted play when they throw the football. Downfield he goes, and it's out of bounds by quite a bit as Newquist was over the closest one to the football. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 10.5.
One of those bootleg type plays where Brett Turner faked the pitch going to the right, and then he kept the ball going to the left. But the Salthawk secondary, they're good. They stayed at home on the backside and had good coverage.
So far, the precipitation staying away for tonight so far. It doesn't mean it's not going to roll in here a little bit later on. It looks like we're going to get this first half in unscathed.
That was Titan Hennahan, the excellent coverage that last
Nice
play.
job by Titan. 3rd down and 10.5. That wants to throw the football. That's going to be Turner. A little screen play is picked off. It's intercepted by the Salthawks. Coming up at the pick is going to be Griffin Cook right at the line of scrimmage. And he just dove for the ball and got the pick. 1st and 10 Salthawks inside of Valley Center territory with 4:38 to go.
It's a defensive lineman dream come true to get the interception.
Nice job on that pick right there by Griffin Cook.
One of our favorite Blue Dragon football players ever, Toby Johnson, he got an interception.
Yeah, that was a few years ago when he played for the Vikings, but that was on his birthday too. Big old Toby's had a birthday the other day. You saw that on Facebook, one of those memories. That's one of the things I like about Facebook. It brings up those old memories. They turn the pitch for the Salthawks to give it to Hernandez, and he's going to be dragged down inside of Salthawk territory, and he might be a little shaken up as well. Back to the 49, a loss of about 4 to 5 on the play. Brings up a 2nd down and 15 for the Salthawks.
This Valley Center defense, they've done everything a coach could ask them to do so far in this game.
Well, and they got some kids going both ways. We talked about that on the pregame a little bit, and we'll see what the second half will do for those kids. But right there, they showed some speed on the outside and was able to drag Hernandez down. 2nd down and 14. Kokar under center. Ball on the 49 of Hutchinson. Dipsy Doodle, and they give it off to Hogan up the middle. And I say that because there's about 3 different handoffs. Only one counts. It goes up to the 45. Pick up, got that yardage back, and then it's going to make it 3rd down and about 7. Nice job by Hogan.
When Hutchinson runs the option, many times through the years, officials have blown the whistle thinking the player was tackled, and the guy that gets tackled didn't have the ball.
Yeah, I was continuing to watch Kokar because I thought he still had it, but it wasn't the case. Hogan had it. He rolls forward to about the 45-yard line. He's getting some positive yardage. 3:31 to go in this first half of play. We're in the second quarter. 7-6 Hutchinson. Hutchinson on the drive. Kokar, the quarterback, back to pass. Steps up. Now he's going to run it. Bounces into one of his own players and finally is dropped by a Valley Center Hornet after a loss of a yard on the play. And that's that situation. You hope that Kokar can get to the outside. If he gets to the outside, big number 40 right there doesn't get him. And that was a case where Vanderweede was able to drop him. He weighs 232 pounds. Brought Kokar down pretty easily. So 4th down, punting situation, but will they? 2:50 to go in this second quarter of play. Let's see what Hutchinson's going to do right now. Looks like they're going to go for it. They're going to maybe
I think they're going to take a timeout.
Take a timeout. What are they going to do?
I think they'll take a timeout.
2:39 remaining. Send a man in motion. Back the pass is Kokar. Screen pass. Caught by Hogan at the 40. To the 35. All the way down to the 30. Tries to get out of bounds to stop the clock with 2:28 remaining, and he does so.
Hutchinson fooled me. They let the play clock run down to about 2 seconds before they took the snap. I thought they would just take a timeout.
Well, they fooled Valley Center, too, because I think that's what they thought they were going to do, but not the case. A little screen pass, but they're talking things over. Is this one coming back or what? Let's check it. Looks like there will be a call. Did he have a illegal man downfield possibly? Of course, it wasn't being thrown, so... Well, it was thrown by way of the screen pass. No foul on the play. No move to change. Hutchinson on the drive with 2:28 to go. How about that play? I like it.
It's a tough play to defend.
Hogan did a nice job taking it down and actually getting out of bounds. The penalty, or the thought of the penalty, stopped the clock anyway. It's at the 31. Hutchinson on the drive. 2:21 to go in this first half of play. Now they start the clock. Kokar down in the center with another fresh first down. Sends Hernandez in motion. Gives it to Hogan up the middle, up to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, trying to work his way out of bounds. He does so at the 6-yard line. First and goal, Hutchinson. That's another highlight reel. This one time it's going to be on Zach Hogan. As Hogan did a nice job, Dan, to take it all the way down. Got that slant. Got the defender on him at the 6. I thought he was going to break it loose, but it brings up a first and goal situation with 2:04 to go. Ball on the 6-yard line of Valley Center, and Valley Center looks like they're going to call a timeout. We're going to keep it here with the timeout because this is a very, very nice drive by the Salthawks, set up by the 4th down and long situation, 4th and 7 or 8. And like you said, we thought they were going to take it all the way down, say time off the clock, and then call the timeout. They did not. Set up the screen, and Hogan delivered.
You know, that was a trademark of Salthawk football in 2020 and all of those close games that they won. Many of those games, they found a way to score right before halftime, and it gave them some momentum going into the locker room.
So now Valley Center breaks huddle. They'll come over. 2:04 remaining. Ball for Hutchinson's on the Valley Center 6-yard line with a first and goal situation. Hutch leading it 7-6.
Want to send out our warmest wishes to Coach Dave Armbrust, who coached the linebackers for Salthawk football since 2004. Many state championships.
34 years, he told?
Since 2004.
Since 2004 at Hutch, yeah.
And he decided to retire from coaching this year, and we welcome aboard Tony Trimble, who is coaching the linebackers this year.
And a couple new faces over there I haven't recognized as well. Hernandez, man of motion, turn around to give, off again. This time it's going to be Grissom all the way down. That's going to be Burgess, Zion Burgess tries his hand at it, takes it all the way down to about the 4-yard line, 33-yard line. It'll be second down and goal from the 3.
Marcus Mader and Todd Smith are two other additions to the coaching staff this year for Hutchinson.
Again, nice job right there by Zion Burgess wearing number 12. Of course, that was Barlow's number from last year, and he's graduated and moved on. Kokar, man of motion. Straight ahead running. Close in
Not
there,
quite.
but down to the 1.
Just a little bit short.
So popping outside, I think that might have been Hernandez. Nope. Hogan was with it.
But really, it's a little bit of a blessing because you would rather, if you can get it in the end zone the next play or two, you don't really want to leave Valley Center with any time to do anything.
107. They showed they can return the football. So Hutchinson had a nice touchdown and took a 7-0 lead and then relaxed. And all of a sudden, an 85-yard run. Give up the middle, straight ahead running. Is it close again? I think it's short by about a half a yard. Clock's going to roll down, still counting away at 48. It will bring up a 4th down and goal situation.
4th down and about almost exactly a yard, maybe a little bit short of a yard.
This is where I like to sprint to the pylon. Kind of get outside, use your speed. Kokar's got that speed. See what they're going to do here. 4th down.
Valley Center definitely bunching up the line of scrimmage near the football. Might be a good idea to go off the edge.
20 yards on the play, and Hutch is going to take a timeout. We'll take a 30-second break. Hutchinson at the 1-foot line trying to punch it in and extend their lead. We're going to take a quick 30-second timeout. We'll be back with more Hutchinson football. Hutch leading 7-6 right after this. Hutch leading 7-6 right after this.
The Kansas State Fair is right around the corner, and we couldn't be more excited. Finally, delicious fair food, rides, music, and remarkably low prices on all of our spas, grills, and outdoor furniture. Come see Pools Plus this year at the Kansas State Fair, September 10th through the 19th. Come take advantage of the savings. Give the professionals at Pools Plus a call to schedule your pool closing. Our schedule is filling up fast. Stay safe and shop local. Pools Plus, 21 East 1st in downtown Hutchinson.
19 seconds remaining to go before intermission. Salthawks had the football on the 1-yard line, leading at 7-6, with a 4th down and goal situation facing him here, Dan. And you know, like I said, I brought up the fact to race to the pylon, use your speed to the outside because Valley Center's bunching up. But, hey, quarterback sneak should be able to get it done.
I like rocket toss to the right.
Yeah, that could be. And there goes Hernandez to give up the middle, and Hogan's going to be stopped. He peels back, and Valley Center has stopped the Salthawks from scoring. What a big play by the Hornets. As you went to the well maybe one too many times to give it to Hogan, it looked like it was going to be Hernandez on the outside, but they gave it to Hogan, and he did not get it in. And Valley Center, with 15 seconds left, will take it over. That's a big disappointing play right before halftime.
Very rarely does a team come up with a defensive stop when their opponent has the ball that close to the end zone with several tries.
So now Valley Center will have the football. They've got to be careful, but more than likely they're just going to get down in their center, maybe even just go straight forward and let that 15 seconds roll off so nothing happens to them.
Good idea to play it safe and just be happy to go in the locker room down 7-6 if you're Valley Center.
Hutchinson actually lost a yard on that. So it's on the 2-yard line. So Valley Center's possession starts at their own 2. And they'll do just that. It's going forward, and off tackle is going to be Turner. In now 10 seconds, 9 seconds, and I think they're just going to let it roll off so nothing happens. He actually picked up some pretty good yardage, up about a couple-yard pickup. It'll be at the 4, but that's going to do it. Halftime is here, and Hutchinson disappointed they didn't punch it into the end zone, but they have a 7-6 lead as they head to the locker room to talk things over. Valley Center has to be really enthused coming in as an underdog to only be down 1 point and had an opportunity to tie it up, which was not able to get it done. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout, get set for the Medicine Shop in-game capsule brought to you by the Medicine Shop in Hutchinson. We'll be back to talk to Coach Kevin Armstrong coming your way also at halftime. We'll take a break. We'll be back right after this 2-minute timeout.
Apex Shears has deep roots in Kansas. This is Tom Stivers. We were started by George Shears in 1874, just 3 years after the founding of Hutchinson, and are Hutchinson's first contractor. Apex Shears is known for big highway projects, but think local when you need a new driveway, parking lot, or other paving project. Apex Shears is proud to provide local jobs and employ local people. Find out more about your local construction and aggregate company by visiting apexshears.com. A CRH company.
Hutchinson Community College and Blue Dragon Athletics are proud to support the Hutchinson Salthawks. Whether you're working towards your degree or are a busy working individual with limited time to attend class, Hutch CC has what you're looking for. And for those still in high school, Hutchinson Community College's Step Ahead program provides a head start on a quality education, and it may not cost the student anything. Visit hutchcc.edu or call 888-GO-HUTCH for more details. And good luck this season to the Salthawks.
I've been a big fan and supporter for a long time, and the most important thing is the commitment that the company has to the area.
We have benefited from the partnership by better communication in our rural areas, and we've been very pleased with our services from Nextech Wireless.
Our favorite aspect of being a Nextech Wireless customer is just the customer service, the friendliness. We know they're right there and they're going to be reliable and help us out.
Cody Smith, attorney at law and an alumni of Hutch High, would like to wish the very best to the Salthawks this season. Cody specializes in bankruptcy and other areas of the law. If you're feeling overwhelmed with debt, give Cody a call. Don't wait until creditors garnish your bank account or paycheck. Call Cody Smith, attorney at law, at 620-259-2424 or visit codysmith.law. That's .L-A-W. Cody is a debt relief attorney, helping people file for relief under the bankruptcy code. Go Salthawks!
Welcome back. At halftime right now is a 7-6. Hutchinson with a 1-point lead. It is time for the Medicine Shop in-game capsule. I'm Glenn Grunwald, joined by Dan Nacarado and Matt Peterson on the stream. We'll talk to Kevin Armstrong a little bit later on, but let's take a look real quick. This is brought to you by the Medicine Shop, that little White Castle at 14th and Main. They do such a great job, and they're ready for that booster when it is approved and get going here on the COVID-19 before too long. We'll talk more about that as the season progresses, but Knack, your thoughts on not being able to punch it into the end zone from 1 yard out? You know that Coach Vernon is not happy about that right now, and I think it's just a matter of execution.
It's disappointing that if you're a Salthawk football fan that they did not go ahead and put a score on the board right before halftime. And when you look at the stat sheets, Valley Center only picked up 2 first downs the entire first half. Hutchinson picked up 10. Hutchinson outgained Valley Center 155 yards to 35 yards. But remember that big 85-yard touchdown kick return in the second quarter by Cade Wilson. And Salthawks just have a very narrow edge on the scoreboard, 7-6 at halftime.
And that's basically your Medicine Shop in-game capsule. When you look at the times of possession, Hutchinson really dominated that, and you were kind of surprised only 2 first downs for Valley Center, and that's because Hutchinson just was unable to punch it in. They drove it down very effectively, was not able to punch it in. They really dominated, again, that time of possession that we had in the first half of play. So,
one of those first downs, the fake punt on the first possession.
Exactly. We're going to take a quick 1-minute timeout, get Kevin Armstrong in here. He's over in the other room. Dan, if you'd knock on the window and get him to come over, we'd be glad to do that. A 1-minute timeout coming your way. We'll be back. 6 minutes remaining in the halftime. 7-6, Hutch on top. We'll be back right after this.
Get your prescriptions with no hassle at the Little White Castle. You've heard that Medicine Shop jingle for over 20 years. We know that picking up prescriptions at the drugstore can be challenging. At the Medicine Shop, we try our best to make your drugstore experience pleasant. With 4 pharmacists and several knowledgeable pharmacy technicians, the Medicine Shop has the manpower to efficiently accommodate you. So next time you need a prescription with no hassle, try the Little White Castle. The Hutchinson Medicine Shop in Midtown Hutch.
You deserve a patient-centered medical home. You deserve Prairie Star, with health care held to a higher standard, offered by compassionate primary care providers who actually listen to your concerns. Because at Prairie Star, it's all about you. That commitment to our patients has earned us numerous national quality care awards year after year. Prairie Star Health Center, 30th and K61 in Hutchinson.
Welcome back to Gowan Stadium. A 7-6 lead at halftime. Hutchinson on top of Valley Center, and a shortened halftime due to precipitation possibly coming in a little bit later on. Joining me now is Kevin Armstrong, the fine athletic director, activities director at Hutchinson High School. And Kevin, right out of the chutes, I want to talk about, well, congratulations on getting to this part of the year so far. It's kind of deja vu, but I think we know what we're doing and handling it quite well, and it's good to see everybody out here and be able to attend.
Yeah, it's great to see all the fans out here and not in mass, but we definitely want to make sure everybody's staying safe and doing the right thing. So we want to continue to seeing bodies in the stands and
they're social distancing pretty good. Like to see that.
Bad.
So let's talk about the new ticketing system. Now, you sent out an email to most of the to the different individuals. It's all online and handled off your smartphone. How's that going, and how does it work?
Well, There's lots of schools that have gone to this type of ticketing system. We're still going to take cash. I hate for somebody to walk up here and not have a smartphone, but we're waiting for the credit card machines. We've got lots of people that want to use cards at the gate, but hopefully for some that want to use their phones and get online, that they're able to do that as well. So a few hiccups here and there, but they're a little bit overwhelmed with everything, and so hopefully we'll get our equipment and hadn't been as bad as I thought.
Well,
I kind of get to check it, and lots of people are using it.
Yeah, you mentioned that a lot of people are using it. Any theater that you go to anymore now, even going to see a film, is using that. Also, again, and all the theaters, such as musical theaters, are using them. If you go to a concert, that's being used that way. So it's nothing new in that, and it does save some money. It saves some, not the printing cost and all those third-party.
Sure. We're going to use it. We're going to use it all across the board here at the school. Talk to our drama department, and we're gonna put those tickets online, and hopefully we'll have enough people that'll use it, and we'll cut down on the lines that they have at the gate.
A few changes in personnel by way of coaching and at the high school as well, as we had some people move on, but everybody's kind of settling in. And what's this, the third week of school already, or second full week, I believe?
Just finished our second full week.
So I think everything's going pretty good.
Yeah. We're wearing masks in school, and we're doing what we can to do some social distancing, but. It's just it's a problem that everybody's facing right now, and hopefully we're going to stay healthy and get all our games in. Nothing's given right now.
Exactly, nothing given at all, and I think people take care of themselves. And I think the biggest thing is wash your hands and just watch exactly on social distancing and be aware of people that are around you. It's going to be interesting to see if it spikes any after Labor Day and after the state fair, and that's going to be a couple of measuring yardsticks, so to speak. Absolutely. Talk about all the activity tickets. How can people get activity tickets?
Well, the activity season passes are online. We worked with a company most of July and thought we had some things in place, and they weren't going to be able to guarantee the credit card machines and some of those things. So we pivoted. I guess that's the word we've all used here in the last year and a half. But we pivoted, and unfortunately we didn't get it out until yesterday. But, I think our people have just been pretty resilient with everything, and so you can go online to gofan.co. You can get your season passes, $55 for an adult and $30 for a student. And if you attend 7 events, you're pretty much paid for your pass. So hopefully, they'll take advantage of that, and in the end, they'll save some money. So
we're going to see if we can get a Salt Hawk victory here in the second half of play. Right now, 7-6, a little tighter game than we anticipated, but we'll see what the adjustments are made at halftime.
Absolutely. Well, I always appreciate you having me, Glenn.
You bet. We'll appreciate you allowing us to have you.
You guys are the
we
best.
We appreciate it very much, and so glad you're with us again. I missed not talking to you this summer. You know that? Hope you had a good summer.
I did.
I think you did.
It must have been good. It was fast.
Kevin Armstrong, the activity director. We're going to keep it here as he switches headsets with Dan Nacarado and gets set. And thanks to the Hutch Marching Band for the performance at halftime. And as we'll get set for football action as both teams are on the field. Let's see if they stick any extra time on there or not. I believe they will. So I'm going to go ahead and take a 1-minute timeout. They do put time on there, so I'm going to take a 2-minute timeout to let Trace and everybody know back at the station. We'll take a 2-minute break. Second half just around the corner. It's 7-6. Hutchinson on top. Hutchinson will have the football as they deferred to the second half. They'll have the first possession. Let's see what they're going to do with it. We'll be back with more coming your way right after this 2-minute timeout.
Is your favorite time of day, you've got Tax Pro potential. At H&R Block, you could turn your passion for tax prep and helping people into a career with us. Local classes near you, beginning September 20th in Hutchinson, Lyons, or Ellsworth. Learn more at hrblock.com/beapro. Enrollment in or completion of the H&R Block income tax course is neither an offer nor a guarantee of employment. Enrollment restrictions apply.
Hutchinson High School sports is on air thanks to these outstanding Salt Hawk boosters. The Medicine Shop, Portfolio Recovery Associates, Hayden's & Co. Salon and Beyond, American Family Insurance Agent Travis Rodenbaugh, APAC Shears, Pools Plus, First National Bank, Next Tech Wireless, the Summit of Hutchinson with Drs. Lowen and Severud, Prairie Star Health Center, Ashcraft Pharmacy, Axel's Taxi, and Edward Jones Financial Advisor William Thacker. Thanks for listening.
Need to send someone money? Pay a babysitter? Split the bill? Use FirstPay. It is the person-to-person payment option located right inside your online banking app. There is no need to download an additional application. It is simple, safe, and secure. We're first for you. Visit fnbhutch.bank to learn more, or click on your First National Bank app to get started. You can also stop into a location nearest you, and we're happy to help. First National Bank of Hutchinson, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Need a pharmacy you can rely on? One where they focus on learning your name and your needs? Being the best pharmacy possible, having a friendly and knowledgeable staff, and stocking the products you need is what Ashcraft Pharmacy is all about. Whether it is dry skin, a cough, or runny nose, aches and pains, or something that requires prescription medications, you can count on Ashcraft Pharmacy in South Hutchinson. Stop in, call, pick up curbside, or we'll be happy to deliver. Ashcraft Pharmacy, Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Gowan Stadium. Glenn Grunwald along with Dan Nacarado, Matt Peterson on the cameras, being assisted by Sarah Peterson as well as we get set for second half of action. I got a feeling there was maybe need to have some walls repainted at halftime with the Salt Hawks because not able to take what would have been a 14-6 lead. It was into halftime was a big failure, being able to punched into the end zone on 4 different downs inside the 5.
We talked about in-game adjustments being one of the keys to victory tonight, so let's see which team made better adjustments at halftime. And Glenn, I have to give you some very good accolades because in our pregame show you talked about the special teams being a factor, and you have to give Valley Center the nod on special teams. They had a fake punt successfully executed the first series and 85-yard kick return for a touchdown.
When we looked at the keys to the game, that was one that checked off for Valley Center, and it's proven to be true, although I was not like the great Karnak that Johnny Carson used to use, but that 85-yard return was huge by Cade Wilson.
That's what's keeping them in the game.
And that was a big turn. You're exactly right. And then also their defense is doing really, really well. Second quarter scores, Blue Valley North 14, Blue Valley nothing. That's up around the Kansas City area. Chapman 18, Sabetha 7. Southeast of Saline 36, Minneapolis nothing. McPherson 24. Bullpups continue to roll over Salina South 7. And I had an earlier Mays South is the opponent of our first road trip coming up in a couple weeks. For the Salt Hawks, so I'll try to pull that up here just a little bit as well.
While you're looking that up, we'll let our fans know 1 week from tonight, Garden City will come to Gowan Stadium here in Hutchinson, Kansas, USA, Earth Milky Way. And then the week after that, the Salt Hawks travel to Mays South.
Yep, that's will be how we will travel. And Hayden 7, Emporia nothing. Little River 62. They keep on rolling over Peabody 6, and St. John's Tipton 38, Sylvan Lucas 22. And that's just a couple of scores to give to you. And we'll have more on the scoreboard show following Salt Hawk football tonight with Nick Gosnell. Here comes the kickoff for the second half, and putting a toe into it was Valley Center, and it goes into the end zone. So Hutchinson will have have a touchback and have it on their own 20.
To let you know how serious Hutchinson is about this game tonight, that's quarterback Noah Kokar that was back there deep for that punt return. Normally teams don't like to put their quarterback in that situation.
They had Hogan back there earlier, and that time it was Kokar. So they will have the football. Hutchinson will at their own 20-yard line as we start this third quarter play. Glad to have you along. 7-6 Hutchinson with a 1-point lead. Again, Hutchinson scored back in the second quarter at the 10-13 mark to take the lead. And then right after that score, you had the kickoff return by Valley Center, 85 yards. The point after failed. Here's a defensive play by Valley Center as they push Hogan all the way back, and it ends up being a loss of a couple yards on the plays. Forward progress marked at about the 19, so it'll be second down and 11.
Logan Davis, 5'11", 286 pounds at that interior defensive line position, clogged the hole.
Everybody expecting for Hogan to really be the stud back there, and I think he will be. But right now, Valley Center, give them a lot of credit. They've been able to key on him a little bit and not able to bust off that big one, although he does have a 27-yarder earlier on. Back to pass Kokar throws it downfield. Catch is made at the 50, down and rolls inside by Hernandez all the way to the 48-yard line. What a catch by Daniel Hernandez. What a toss by Kokar.
Well executed, taking what the defense gives you, because on that play, Valley Center had everybody up within 7 yards of the line of scrimmage, nobody deep in coverage, and Hutchinson took advantage of it.
31-yard pickup right there. It's on the 50-yard line as Hernandez, by him rolling into Valley Center territory, did not pick up that yardage. Kokar, that might open things up a little bit for Hogan. Back to pass, turns the corner, goes around the right side, has some speed. He's at the 30, the 25, the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Hutchinson. Kokar from 50 yards out, puts 6 on the board. It's 13-6, Hutch on top. Whoa! Lightning has struck, but not in the literally speaking term. But what a job by Kokar. Once he turned that corner, he was gone.
That is a 80-yard touchdown drive in 3 plays, with the first play losing a yard and the next 2 picking up 31 yards, then 50.
I think some of those offensive linemen might have to paint that wall in the locker room, because evidently there was some blocks on that one. Point after kick by the freshman. It is up, and it is good. And Hutchinson take a 14-6 lead over Valley Center. We're going to take a quick 30-second timeout. 10:42 to go in the third quarter play. We'll be back with more from Gowan Stadium. Hutch on top 14-6 right after this 30-second timeout.
Forward, always moving, never stagnant. Together, nothing great is ever accomplished without it. At Fee Insurance Group, we've been working side by side with our clients for more than a century. Together with individuals, organizations, and communities, we look ahead to protect the people, places, and things they love. We're Fee Insurance Group. Forward, together.
Well, you talk about just really getting it going quickly. What a job they did right there, as they were able to roll it up to the 50 on a big run, on a big throw that was. And catching it was Hernandez, set up the big run by Kokar. By the time he hit the 40, I couldn't even get the 40 out of my mouth.
He's fast.
I caught up with him at the 30. Here comes the kick. High end-over-end kick, taken at the 15 again. This time, left side is going to be Cade Wilson trying to control him. He's still on his feet. On the outside, goes down the left sideline this time and finally knocked out of bounds at the 42-yard line. That question mark of special teams is still there. This time, the Wilson kid takes it around the left, picked up some good blocks, and it'll be 1st and 10 Valley Center.
You know, Hutchinson, for the last few years, did a lot of pooch kicks on kickoffs. And when you do that, it pretty much takes away the opportunity for any kind of big return. Hutchinson may want to consider going back to that strategy, that tactic.
Ball on the 42. Valley Center's own 42-yard line. They'll split out on the right side will be Wilson at a wide receiver spot. Again, Turner, the quarterback, down under center. Turns, gives it to Kaufman, and he's met right at the 40, loss of 2 on the play. Coming up out of those linebacker spots, doing a great job out there. Was a couple different linebackers and getting the hit made. Good job by Hutchinson as they were able to get the stop made by Noah Ragoza led the charge out there, and Cunningham was in there as well.
Linebackers love to see tackles for loss next to their name, and you can put next to Noah Ragoza and Nolan Cunningham's names, tackle for loss.
Nice job right there. 2nd down now and 12. Ball on the 40-yard line for the Valley Center Hornets. Hornets look over the defense. It's Turner, the quarterback, down in the center. Turns, gives the ball off to Kaufman. Just about dropped again, and he will be. Nice job as they continue to rush in there. Again, who else? It was Ragoza in there, and also making a big stop for Hutchinson. With the stop was Ragoza. Noah Ragoza wears number 51.
Back-to-back tackle for losses.
So this one will be at the 38. So it will be down a 3rd down and 14 facing Valley Center. Nice job by Ragoza. Hudson really came with some effort from the linebacker spot. Ragoza, that right side linebacker.
after those 2 tackle for losses, Valley Center a grand total of 30 yards of offense in this football game.
Ben Patterson wearing jersey number 10 out there, so you can see him back there in that Eagle linebacker spot. And now whistle stops play before they even get the snap off. So let's see what the call is going to be. It looks like it's going to be against Valley Center.
Delay of game. I think the play clock was at 0.
I think you're right. So that'll roll it back past the 35-yard line. They'll set it up. This will be a 3rd down and 19 now. They got to get to the 48. So this is on the 33-yard line. So 3rd down and 19 for Valley Center. Back in the shotgun this time is Wilson. Back to pass is Wilson. Steps up, tucks it, wants to still run it. Now he wants to throw it. He goes downfield, has a receiver way down there, but incomplete. The intended receiver was Trace Emig, and it fell incomplete. It'll bring up a 4th down and 19, a punting situation for sure for Valley Center. Now, they have faked 1 punt. That was early on in the ball game. But right here with 14-6 they trail, they're going to have to punt the football away. That's a hungry bunch of Salt Hawks that are ready to get something done here in the second half of play after not being able to get that score that they wanted.
Looks like the deep back is a little too far deep.
We will see what takes place here. And that it looks to me like it's going to be Hernandez back there. Here comes the punt. High spiraling punt's going to be taken right at the 20 with some room, and he's going to take off with it to the left side to the 40. Up to the 50-yard line. Down the sideline he goes and steps out of bounds. Nice return by Hernandez. And, Dan, there's a flag on the play, so this one might be coming back, but that was exactly the right length that he needed to be at as he brought it in.
I always admit it when I'm wrong, and I was definitely wrong there. He was positioned exactly in the right spot.
So I think this might be possibly, let's check it, it's going to be against the Salt Hawks. I thought for a second it was against Valley Center. It's a hold or a block in the back. And erases a very nice return by Hernandez, but nonetheless, Hutchinson will have the football, and that's what's more important with 8:19 to go into 3rd. Leading at 14-6 over the Valley Center Hornets. Hutchinson will have the ball on the 25-yard line.
Just gives that Hutchinson Salt Hawk offense the opportunity to rack up more impressive offensive stats.
So 1st and 10 from the 25, the Hutchinson's own 25 with 8:19 to go. Again, we're in the 3rd quarter of play. And Kokar comes out and gets to the huddle. Again, Hutchinson with 2 home games, and then we take to the road. May South, our first home road game, and then Newton, our second road game, and then back here at Gowan Stadium.
Congratulations to HMS 7 for winning last night at Newton.
Here we go. Kokar, he's going to keep it, trying to roll to the right side, and finally gets the pitch out to Hernandez. Had it for a second, Kokar did, to the 32 goes Hernandez. Nice movement with the ball. That's a nice 7-yard pickup by Hernandez. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 3 situation.
Good play. Hutch Middle School 8 had their game suspended last night, so they will have to make that up, and I can't remember exactly the date that they decided they would get that.
We'll try to get that out to everybody, and I know we're going to attempt to, at least I'm going to, try to film some of the freshman and JV games as they return here to Gowan Stadium. We'll give you some information on that before too long. Here we give up the middle. Hogan busts his head down and plows for some more. I think he's got the 1st down. Yes, he does. He'll take it to the 42-yard line. 1st and 10, Salt Hawks leading at 14-6, 8:01 to go in his 3rd period of play. Crowd starting to get into it a little bit, giving that Salt Hawk 1st down chant. Randy McKay doing a nice job on the PA work tonight, as he does each and every night when he's here for the Salt Hawks. Kokar down under center, 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Hutch's on 38. The delay, but the give inside and plying forward for a couple yards. Again, is Hogan on the carry. And he'll move it across the 40 up to about the 41, so a pickup of 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
Earlier, we talked about some of the new faces on the Salt Hawk coaching staff. Let's give some credit to Scott Yanis. He picked up his 200th win as the defensive coordinator last year in October in a game Hutchinson won over Newton.
Whiteout split left and right. Nick Lang on our near side. Ball on the left hash. Expecting some things out of Nick this season as well, both here and on the basketball court. The pitch on the outside. Here's Hernandez trying to turn the corner, and he'll take it up to about the 43-yard line. It'll be short of the first down, so this will bring up a third down and short situation.
Hutchinson has run to the short side of the field on the left a couple of times. It might be time to test the right side.
3rd and 4. Hernandez is kind of taking Kokar's place on that rocket toss. Hernandez doing a nice job. He's a sophomore, 5'9", 130. So he's one of those talented freshmen that moved up to the varsity this year. I love to see sophomores play football. They improve so much from year to year. There's a give off to, again, this time it's going to be taken by Burgess. He has some room to run all the way down and out of bounds, deep inside of Valley Center territory. They'll mark it at the 25. I like that play by Zion Burgess.
It's a 31-yard gain on the counter play. Came back, faked it to the wide side to the right, came back to the left, and had a nice hole.
So 1st and 10 for Hutch now on the Valley Center 25. Now keep this in mind, though. They had a dry stall on the 1 earlier on when they had 1st and goal situation late in that second quarter. So let's see if they can make amends on that with their head coach and be able to punch it in or not. 1st and 10 for the 25 here with 6:45 to go in the third quarter play. Hogan bounces to the inside and then uses his strength to get all the way up to about the 22-yard line. Pick up a 3 on the carry. It'll be up a 2nd down and 7. Valley Center really stacking inside. I think I'm impressed a little bit with Valley Center's defensive speed. From sideline to sideline, they really do a good job of stretching out the plays. And right there, yeah, they got to Hogan, but not before he picked up 3 yards.
Valley Center has some big players up front on that defensive line, and then, as you said, Glenn, some fast players in the secondary.
We're going to see how they are in the fourth quarter because many of them are going both ways, as we indicated. I think, did we say 5 are going 5 going both ways? Kokar, the quarterback, down under center, 2nd down and 7. And whistle stops the play as the flag comes in from the near side. And we're going to have an outsides penalty called. And let's see if it's going to be against the Hornets or not. It's going to be against the Hornets. They'll mark it deeper in the Hornet territory. They'll mark it at the 17-yard line. So 2nd down and 2 we have now with the ball on the 17.
Dream situation for Coach Mike Vernon. When it's 2nd down and 2, you can call anything in the playbook.
Yeah, and you really could maybe take it to the airways if you wish to. They had success with the screen pass. We haven't seen a draw yet. Pitch on the outside. Hernandez using his speed. Has it 1st down all the way to the 10-yard line. They'll say he stepped out of bounds right at the 10. 1st and 10, Hutchinson. Let's see where they mark it, if it's a 1st and goal situation or not. It's darn close with 5:31 to go in the third quarter of play. Glenn Grunwald, Dan Nacarado, along with Matt Peterson and Sarah Peterson tonight, helping out with Brother Matt, learning to stream. And it's 14-6 right now. Hutchinson with the lead and knocking on the door, and it's right at the 10. It will be 1st and goal from the 10-yard line.
Coach Travis Thurston back on board with Hutchinson football as the offensive coordinator. Coaches the quarterbacks.
Up under center, Kokar. Turn to give to Hogan. He slides inside, picks up a couple yards, about to the 8-yard lines where they'll mark it. It'll be a 2nd down and goal from the 8.
Coach Sean Harper does a fantastic job with that offensive line. Coach Sean Harper, one of the best offensive linemen to ever come through Hutchinson High School, and it's good to have him back at his alma mater coaching.
Third quarter score, Buhler 28, Goddard 14. That's a good one in the Ark Valley Chisholm Trail League Division 2. And again, Kokar gets under center. Sends a man in motion. That's Hernandez. And I think we had another Valley Center movement on the line. And it'll be, again, a half the distance to the goal line.
You know, it's funny that that's happening at this stage of the game. We see that happen frequently on the first series, but very rarely do you see it happen this deep into the game.
Well, I see the Hawk flag being waved again, and I had to make sure it's Dr. Fan down there waving it again, even though Jonathan has graduated and went on to, where's he at, USC, I think? Yeah, he's at USC.
Smart young man, and he was a very good offensive lineman for Hutchinson.
Dr. Fan still waving the flag down there. So this brings up a 2nd down and 3 goal situation. The pitch on the outside, Hernandez trying to take it in, and he's right at the goal line, about a yard or a half a yard short, just short of the goal line. This will bring up a third down and 1 situation now.
Noah Kokar, pretty nifty with those pitches as he reads the option.
So 3rd and goal from the 1 right now for the Salthawks. Hutchison leads it. Salthawks 14-6 over Valley Center. Hutch trying to punch it in here. They were denied earlier about in this same situation. Let's see what they come up with here. Did he give it to Hogan? Do you go with the quarterback sneak? What do you do here, Dan? You turn around, you give it to the big man, Hogan, and he pounds it inside for a touchdown from 1 yard out. This happens at the 3:50 mark of this third quarter of play. And all of a sudden it is 20-6.
Offensive line looked very good on that drive. We're talking about Sammy Christians, Mason Seitz, Cooper Doobie, Daley Van Sickle, and Chase Kepler.
So the point after now, and again you got the rookie kicker out there, Tyson Runyon. He's a freshman as he gets set to punch it through. Here's his kick. It's up on its way, and it is good. 21-6. Hutchison extends the lead with 3:50 to go in the third period of play. We'll take a quick 30-second timeout. We'll wait the kickoff coming your way from the Salthawks. We'll be back with more coming your way right after this.
The Kansas State Fair is right around the corner, and we couldn't be more excited. Finally, delicious fair food, rides, music, and remarkably low prices on all of our spas, grills, and outdoor furniture. Come see Pools Plus this year at the Kansas State Fair, September 10th through the 19th. Come take advantage of the savings. Give the professionals at Pools Plus a call to schedule your pool closing. Our schedule is filling up fast. Stay safe and shop local. Pools Plus, 21 East 1st in downtown Hutchinson.
Well, Hutchinson that time was able to punch it in for the touchdown on a 3rd down and 1 situation, 3rd and goal from the 1. Hogan got the touchdown, 3:50 to go in the third period of play, and now Dan had extended that lead a little bit to 21-6. Not quite as much pressure on the defense, but the offense coming through with some good plays.
In this third quarter, Hutchinson with a 80-yard drive and a 75-yard touchdown drive.
Here comes the kick. They didn't pooch it like you requested. It's taken it about the 7-yard line. And there's a flag on the play. It's out of bounds. And then maybe getting hurt was Cade Wilson. He came up limping a little bit, might have turned an ankle, as he'll skip to the sidelines and see if he's going to be okay because he's also a wide receiver. But a flag was tossed on the play. Let's see exactly what it is.
I didn't see any contact made
I didn't
with
either.
him.
But they're talking things over. He kind of reversed his field because he picked it up at about the 13 or 12-yard line, and they're going to mark it. It's going to be holding against the Valley Center.
You know what? I think that Cade Wilson saw the hold because he kind of just slowed down and jogged out of bounds on that kick return. I think he knew a penalty was coming.
Plus, he kind of tweaked his ankle a little bit there, so we'll see if he's going to be in there or not. It looks to me like he is out of the contest as of right now because they split a different wide receiver. That's Braden Boyd, number 1 on that far side. So your quarterback still back in there is going to be Brett Turner.
So far, Hutchinson's defense has dominated.
They gave a little bit on the fake punt, and that's about all the positive yardage. Everything else has been special teams oriented on their yardage. The turn straight ahead running. Not Kaufman. This will be to the up back. And gets a little bit on the carry, not much. Nice job by a couple different Salthawks coming in on the stop.
I think Dorian Hippen might have been on the ball carrier as soon as he received the handoff.
3:21 remaining to go in this third period of play. It's 21-6. Hutchinson extended that lead. That was a nice drive, big play drive. The long pass to the 50, and then that was the play before. And then, of course, the touchdown run by Kokar, and then a nice job of punching it in by Hogan from 1 yard out. Flag on the play again stops play, And timeout's going to be taken by Valley Center. Something's not right over there with the offense, and Valley Center burns another timeout. 2:59 to go in the third period of play. We'll take a 30-second timeout. We'll be back with more right after this.
Apex Shears has deep roots in Kansas. This is Tom Stivers. We were started by George Shears in 1874, just 3 years after the founding of Hutchinson, and are Hutchinson's first contractor. Apex Shears is known for big highway projects, but think local when you need a new driveway, parking lot, or other paving project. Apex Shears is proud to provide local jobs and employ local people. Find out more about your local construction and aggregate company by visiting apexshears.com, a CRH company.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Gowan Stadium. Glenn Grunwald, Dan Nacarado, and Matt Peterson on the camera work tonight as he debuts on the stream, doing a good job. And Valley Center kind of looked a little out of kilter on the first couple of plays on this drive. They face a 2nd down and 9 deep in their own territory at the 10.
Salt Hawk defense looks superb.
All right, Turner looks things over. Down under center. Has an up back right behind him. Elects to throw the football. Looks across the middle. Passes behind his intended receiver. Incomplete to bring up a 3rd down and 9 situation.
It would have taken a perfect pass to find its way. Kinzer Newquist had the coverage. The rest of that defensive staff under Scott Yanis, we've got Tony Trimble, Derek Reset, Jeremy Garcia, Dalton Luce, and then Mike Nugent is the Director of Football Operations, and Zach Burkhardt is the Strength and Conditioning Coach. First-class program.
You betcha. I want to remind everybody, tune in on Country 102.9 tomorrow night at 6:30 as Darren Dunham I will bring you all the action from Coffeyville as the defending national champions, Blue Dragons of Hutchinson, go up against the Coffeyville Red Ravens in the Ville tomorrow night. 6:30 pregame, countdown to kickoff, and then kickoff at 7. To turn the corner, not there, nothing there. Big defensive surge by the Salt Hawks, and just flat getting it done out there, and very effectively for Hutchinson was big number 19. That's going to be Nolan Cunningham, and I expect big things out of Cunningham. He's 6'3", good size. He could go someplace else after his senior year here because he has the size and the speed and the ability.
Good baseball player as well.
So that brings up a 4th down and punting situation facing Valley Center from their own 7-yard line. 4th down and 12. Deep in his own end zone. Here comes the snap. It's a good one. The punt kind of snagglepusses down all the way to about the 40-yard line. Takes a Valley Center roll all the way to the 50 inside of Salt Hawk territory at the 49. That was a generous roll by the football. Sometimes the pigskins kind of grow some feet real quick and go the opposite direction. That was the wobble on that one.
Did you say that was a snagglepuss?
That was a snagglepuss play. It landed right about the 35. And succotash is the way that will take it.
I'm jotting that down so for future reference.
All right. Rusty used to say it skittles out of bounds. Remember that? That was his favorite saying with the football. It was skittle. Mine's a different description. All right, Hutchinson has the ball deep in their own territory at about the 49. Quick opener up the middle. Hogan has some room across and all the way down to the 40. And before he's hog-tied right there, they'll mark it at the 41.
That Hutchinson offensive line opening some holes now, and the running backs squirting through quickly.
They'll mark it at the 41. Hogan starting to get some momentum going on his side of the ball now. And another 1st down for Hutchinson as 1:43 and counting left to go in this 3rd quarter play. Hutch with the 21-6 lead, starting to extend it a little bit. There's a final now. Heston 45, Haven 8. That is a final. So Heston wins their first game of the year, and Haven Wildcats fall and defeat 45-8. Man in motion. Kokar keeps it, 40, 35, to the 30, cuts to the outside, to the 25, to the 20, angles down, trying to pick up a block. He turns the corner at the 10, 5, touchdown, Hutchinson! From 41 yards out, 2nd TD for Kokar as he gets it done right there. And by the way, on the post game, we will have the Jackson meet bringing home the Bacon player of the game. And right now, that is Mr. Kokar, in my opinion. He's done a great job tonight. What a run by right there by by the Hutchison's Kokar, the junior.
He's well over 100 yards rushing now.
So they'll set up to kick the extra point. It's 27-6. Hutchinson takes the lead. Well, you can see that one develop. Turned that corner around on the right side, and he was off to the races. Kind of picked up a block out there a little bit by O'Sullivan. Made sure he wasn't blocking in the back. And here's the point after kick. It is up, and it is good. And it's 28-6. Hutchinson with the lead. 1:07 to go in quarter number 3. We'll be back for the Salt Hawk kickoff right after this 30-second timeout.
Hutchinson Community College and Blue Dragon Athletics are proud to support the Hutchinson Salt Hawks. Whether you're working towards your degree or are a busy working individual with limited time to attend class, Hutch CC has what you're looking for. And for those still in high school, Hutchinson Community College's Step Ahead program provides a head start on a quality education, and it may not cost the student anything. Visit hutchcc.edu or call 888-GO-HUTCH for more details. And good luck this season to the Salt Hawks.
Salt Hawks getting it done here in the second half of play, 28-6. We were 7-6 at halftime, so 3 touchdowns in the third quarter to blow this one open with 1:07 to go in the third. What a run by Kokar. He's got 2 great runs tonight, a 50-yarder, and that one was 41.
He's an electric player. He will be fun to watch for a couple of years in that Hutchinson blue and gold.
All right, getting set to kick it off again is going to be the rookie. I say rookie, he's a freshman, Tyson Runyon. He's only a freshman. I love to see freshmen start to kick well. You know you're going to have him for a few years, and that is a special position. The kick is going to be taken in at about the 11 on the far side and up the field, straight ahead running. They'll get it all the way up, short of the 30-yard line. Valley Center with a pretty nice return. Stop out there by the Salt Hawks, Ben Patterson, to make the stop over on that far side. It'll be 1st and 10 for Valley Center with the 59 seconds left to go in the third quarter of play.
In this third quarter, the Salt Hawks have simply been flawless. They have executed on defense and offense and special teams to perfection.
So they'll huddle up and get set to call the plays as we'll get going here in just a second. I think I gave you that McPherson 24, Salina South 7 score earlier on. I usually get these from scores in Kansas. Chapman is 18, Sabetha 7, and I get a couple finals in as well. Little River over Peabody 62-6. Here's the turn. Player straight up the middle. Second effort trying to get him a few yards is trying to battle for it is Kaufman, and Kaufman really hasn't hurt the Salt Hawks hardly anything tonight, but we know he's capable of being a pretty good runner. He just only picked up about a yard. I think it's more of a case of the front line, defensive line for the Salt Hawks being pretty darn good and Kaufman having a tough night.
Hutchinson has 11 players on defense that are all very aware of where number 9, Cameron Kaufman, is for Valley Center every snap.
Second down and 9 now for Valley Center on their own 28-yard line. Turner, the quarterback, down under center again. Splits a wide out right and left to this time. Gives a straight ahead running and trying to make something out of nothing is going to be Hank. They'll check that. See who was carrying the football.
That's Ethan Vanderleed.
Yeah, Vanderleed. Again, nice pickup by the up back right there. And his big number 40, and that's going to be a
into the
third
quarter.
Down and 1, and that's the end of the quarter. So we'll take a 1-minute break. We'll come back. Fourth quarter coming your way right after this. Hutch leads it 28-6. We'll be back in 1 minute.
I've been a big fan and supporter for a long time, and the most important thing is the commitment that the company has to the area.
We have benefited from the partnership by better communication in our rural areas, and we've been very pleased with our services from Nextech Wireless.
Our favorite aspect of being a Nextech Wireless customer is just the customer service, the friendliness. We know they're right there and they're going to be reliable and help us out.
Cody Smith, attorney at law and an alumni of Hutch High, would like to wish the very best to the Salthawks this season. Cody specializes in bankruptcy and other areas of the law. If you're feeling overwhelmed with debt, give Cody a call. Don't wait until creditors garnish your bank account or paycheck. Call Cody Smith, attorney at law, at 620-259-2424 or visit codysmith.law. That's .L-A-W. Cody is a debt relief attorney, helping people file for relief under the bankruptcy code. Go Salthawks.
12 more minutes remaining to go as we start this fourth quarter of play. Hutch with a 28-6 lead. Glenn Grunwald, Dan Nacarado, and Matt Peterson with you tonight. And it was a third down and short call. I think it's going to be Vanderweed with the first down, so they'll move the chains. And, well, they haven't got a lot. They had the fake punt, but is that about maybe the third? I'm guessing there because our stat are down, and maybe the third first down.
I believe that's correct. And Noah Kokar, 142 yards in this game on 11 carries. You look at Cameron Kaufman, the number one back for Valley Center, 5 yards, 11 carries.
Yeah, he's had a tough night, as we indicated. We know he's a good back, but not able to do anything against that tough defense for the Salthawks tonight. All right, the turn, straight ahead running, nothing there, up to about the 39-yard line. Coming in and making a heck of a stop out there was big number 54. That's Dorian Hippen.
He's made a lot of plays.
Yes, he has, making his presence known. Gets about a half a yard. We'll say 1. Second down and 9. Ball's going to be on the 39-yard line of Valley Center. 10:59 remaining to go in the ball game. Hutch leading at 28-6 if you're late getting in. I want to remind everybody to next week, join in about 6 o'clock and listen to the Kansas Kickoff Show that gives you some insight from all across the state of Kansas and all the classifications. It's well done, powered by K-Preps and Kansas Pregame. There's a throw. It's up for grabs and knocked away. Good job defensively. Hackney was back there. Also was, again, back there was Newquist and doing a nice job to knock that ball away. It'll bring up a second down and 9 situation.
You like it when the two safeties are all over the receiver. He had no chance to make that catch.
Correct myself. It is third down and 9. So 3rd and 9, nose of the football at the 39 of Valley Center.
Cade Wilson limped off after that kick return, but I believe that's him up on the top side.
He is. He's on the top side at the wide receiver mark. And on the bottom side, you have a twin sets going on. Is also out there is Boyd on our near side. Ball's on the center part of the field at the 39. Big third down play. The fake, and Kaufman's caught in the backfield. Nothing there. And coming up to make the stop is Griffin Cook.
Another tackle for loss.
That brings it all the way back for a 4th down and 11 situation. Now marked his forward progress right around the 37-yard line. What a play right there. Cook just caught him in his tracks and slammed him to the turf.
It's not a case of Cameron Kaufman having a bad game. It's a case of the Salthawk defense playing exceptionally well, knowing the player that Valley Center wants to feed the ball to and just not giving him any inch of daylight.
4th down and 11. Ball's fumbled away. They're going to fall on it. Hutchinson's going to get possession change right here at about the 25-yard line. Didn't have a chance to get the ball away. And by the way, Wilson being hurt, he was not able to punt the football. Normally he's back there in a punting situation. He had somebody else back there, and it cost a big turnover.
Put the big fullback Vanderwade back there to punt the ball, and the snap was a little bit low. He didn't handle it. And it's Hutchinson in business at the Valley Center 26-yard line.
Hutch 28, Valley Center 6, 9:52 remaining to go in this fourth quarter play. Hutchinson with a score here could just about put the Hornets away for the second straight year. Last year was a 21-13 ball game, as Miles Thompson was the star in that contest.
And McEwen.
And McEwen as well, you're correct. All right, here comes Kokar. He'll come out with it. He'll keep it again. 20, 15, burst of speed to the 10, all the way down to the 5, and to roll forward all the way inside the 5. They'll mark it where his knee hit, and it was at the 5, so he took it from the 26 to the 5, a 21-yard pickup. Nice job by Kokar.
163 yards in this game now for Noah Kokar.
First and goal for the Salthawks. Ball's going to be right at the 5-yard line. First and goal from the 5. 9:32 remaining to go in this fourth quarter of play. There we get set. Kokar down under center again in that flex bone. Here the turn and giveaway. It's going to be Hogan. Bounces all the way close to the goal line. He's short by about a yard. So pick up a 4 by Zach Hogan. Nice job by Hogan trying to get down deep and score again. It's going to be a 2nd down and goal from the 1. Second and goal from the 1. What's the call going to be here? Is Kokar going to call his own number? He comes over to the sidelines to get the indication of what the play is. He'll split out wide. Actually, that's going to be wide on the right side. It's Mendoza. Kokar down in the center again. Hogan's the lone setback. Got the slots filled as well. The turn to give to Hogan. He plows forward. Touchdown on Zach Homan from 1 yard out. His 2nd of the ball game with 8:32 to go in his 4th and final period. That might have sealed the deal, Dan Nacarado, as Hutchinson takes a 34-6 lead with a 1 yard plunge by Hogan.
Hutchinson is playing exceptionally good football in this second half.
That was off the turnover on the muff punt. That started at the 25, and Hutch was able to take it down. Nice job by Kokar to get the big yardage to take it to the 5, and then Zach Hogan got the next 5 on 2 plays to take it into the end zone for 6. It's 34-6. And let's see if there's going to be a timeout for an injured player. We might have some cramps on the field, and we do.
Stretching him out.
Hutchinson player is injured a little bit, so they're going to stretch him out. We're going to take a timeout. We'll take a 30-second break. We'll come back for the extra point try. 34-6 with 8:32 to go in this 4th quarter of play. Hutch on top. Hutch extra point coming your way right after this 30-second timeout right here on the Salt Hawk Radio Network.
With Hutch Drugs closure, the Medicine Shop has been busy accommodating many of their customers. Whether you're a former Hutch Drug customer or a customer at another drugstore, the Medicine Shop works hard to provide a smooth transition when transferring your medications. Let us know and we can transfer your entire prescription profile. The Medicine Shop has several knowledgeable pharmacists and technicians to make your drugstore experience pleasant. Call or come by the Hutchinson Medicine Shop to make the Medicine Shop your pharmacy. The Medicine Shop in Midtown Hutch.
Chase Kepler that came off the field, and he's going to be okay. He comes up under his own power. And Corey, he's one of those offensive guards that you got to have, our offensive tackle. Newquist will be the holder now for the freshman Runyon. And it's going to be a fake play. Newquist still with the football, spinning out of it a little bit, trying to run for his life. Picks up a block. He turns the corner. He's at the 10. He's at the 5. And he gets just close to the goal line. And did he? Yes, he got in there. A 2-point conversion. A 2-point conversion by Newquist.
That was not by design. Kinzer Newquist is the holder. It was a pretty good snap, but he bobbled it slightly and messed up the timing, so he knew, well, I guess I better get up and run this.
He was running for his life around out there, turned that corner at about the 15. You kind of looked and said, you know what, he's got a chance. He took it right to the pylon, broke the plane of the end zone, and gets the points. It should be 36-6.
It was like the movie The Longest Yard. He ran all the way to the right sideline, reversed his field, and got into the end zone.
There's
all
a
the
penalty
way
on the play, Dan. I don't think it's going to count.
It's going to come back.
It's going to come back. So still, it's good enough for highlight material.
I don't think we're really going to kick this attempt, are we? This would be.
Hey, this could be interesting.
This would be a 49-yard extra point try.
They're going to hold. It'll be held at the 39, which you tack, like you said, 10 onto it. It's a 49-yard extra point try. A high snap. Here comes the kick. It's up and on its way. Whistle on the play. Didn't have a chance. And the kick is no good. 8:32 to go in the ball game. 34-6. Hutch on top. We'll be back for the Hutchinson kickoff right after this 30-second timeout.
You deserve a patient-centered medical home. You deserve Prairie Star, with health care held to a higher standard, offered by compassionate primary care providers who actually listen to your concerns. Because at Prairie Star, it's all about you. That commitment to our patients has earned us numerous national quality care awards year after year. Prairie Star Health Center, 30th and K61 in Hutchinson.
Welcome back to Gowan Stadium. 8:32 remaining to go in the contest. Fourth quarter of play. What an exciting fourth quarter. The third quarter is really what set this up. But a nice job by Hogan to take it in from 1 yard out to get that 34-6 score. Between he and Kokar, they've been a pair tonight. Kokar with some big runs. And you really see the two different styles of play. Kokar with the big runs, and Hogan with the plowed ahead and get about 5 or 6 yards. Pretty good for one. We've only had one stub your toe, and that was right before halftime when they didn't score with 15 seconds to go.
In this game, Hutchinson with 378 yards of total offense. Valley Center, 30.
Here comes the kick. It'll be one of those pooch kicks you talked about, Dan Nacarado. It's taken out about the 26 and steps out of bounds the 30-yard line. So Valley Center will have the ball with 8:30 to go in the contest at their own 30. Halftime score, Inman 52, Trinity nothing. So that's all but over. Eisenhower leads 23-14 over Wichita Heights. How about that? And the Larned Indians on top of Lions in the fourth quarter, 29-19. And kind of interesting scores right there from all across the state of Kansas.
They are.
Stay tuned for the post game with the show, the scoreboard show with Nick Gosnell. As now we have an injured player down on the field, and we'll see what's going to take place here.
In the second half, Hutchinson just turned it on.
It's a cramp again. It's going to be a cramp by the Valley Center player. They really did. They turned it on in that third quarter and just got things done.
You ready to hear the second half total yards so
Sure.
far with 8:30 to play in the fourth quarter? Total yards in the second half only. Hutchinson, 223. Valley Center, -5.
That's a solid third quarter play by the defense and the offense for the Salt Hawks. I want to remind everybody, right after the ball game, after we get done with the coaches show and the stat numbers and everything, we'll turn it over to Nick Gosnell for his scoreboard show, which he'll start it immediately after the ball game. We're gonna have to make sure you and I get it past 9:30. That's kind of the rule a little bit, and he'll take that show all the way to 10:30. This one's kind of moved along because they shortened the halftime primarily, and have
wanted to beat the weather.
Going to beat the weather, so. We'll get you there, Nick. Don't worry about it. We can feel pretty good here. There's still a lot of getting to play. The young man will come off the field and did have some cramping issues, and he will go out. And, again, that will be Samuel Bass. He'll be back to play another down because he's just trying to walk that cramp off. And that's to be expected here in this pretty warm night still, a little muggy.
That's right. Folks, if you like high school football, let your friends know that KWBW is high school football from 6 o'clock until
10:30.
sometime around 10:30
You betcha,
every
all
Friday
the way.
night.
So glad to have you join in. Last year was really strange because of the not able to allow people to come to the game, so we were your source for the games, and we hope you continue to do that. You'll be able to watch it as well on a repeat on NFHS Network tomorrow morning. The turn, to give, straight ahead running. Kaufman has nothing, and there's again negative yardage. Absolutely nothing there. He's thrown backwards for a loss, but they'll get his forward progress, and it looks like it's going to be about the 29, lost on the play of a yard.
It is an absolutely dominant defensive performance, especially in this second half, but even in the first half. And the offense for Hutchinson has certainly clicked in this second half.
May South 21, Great Bend nothing. That's the third quarter score, and it might be past that right now. And that will be an opponent in a couple weeks for the Salt Hawks. Salt Hawks take on Garden City next week right here at Gowan Stadium.
Garden City switched to the flexbone offense this season. It'll be interesting to see their version of it.
All right, Valley Center comes up quickly under center, and there's a whistle on the play. And the play clock might have elapsed, and I think it will be. Delay of game penalty. They'll pull it back another 5 yards. It's going to be a second down and 16 situation. Actually, they got the timeout taken. I apologize. Timeout, Valley Center with 7:42 to go in this fourth period of play. Hutchinson leading 34-6. We'll be back with more from Gowan Stadium right after this 30-second timeout.
If 1040 is your favorite time of day, you've got Tax Pro potential. At H&R Block, you could turn your passion for tax prep and helping people into a career with us. Local classes near you, beginning September 20th in Hutchinson, Lyons, or Ellsworth. Learn more at hrblock.com/beapro. Enrollment in or completion of the H&R Block income tax course is neither an offer nor a guarantee of employment. Enrollment restrictions apply.
7:42 remaining to go in this fourth and final quarter of play, 34-6. A little lightning in the area, but far enough out now not to stop the game right now. Hope it doesn't get any closer. To throw on the outside. Oh, there just about was a pick over there. Hutchinson starting to play some reserves, and there was an opportunity over there to come up with the pick, but Juan Ford was able to break it up, and I think if he turned his head just a little earlier, he would have had the pick.
Juan Ford is a sophomore. How would that be? Your first play of varsity action to get a pick six. That would have been pretty spectacular.
It would have. This will bring up a 3rd down and 12 situation for Valley Center. 7:39 incomplete pass stops the clock in this fourth quarter of play. Again, down under center. That's Turner. Wants to give to Coppin. He does. Coppin around the right side trying to get the edge, and he finally gets some positive yardage all the way up to about the 32. About to pick up a 4th down and 8.
Almost all fresh faces out there on the defensive side of the ball for
and clean
the
jerseys. Dan, clean jerseys. Of course, they always are clean with the turf anymore, but you're exactly right. We'll try to get some numbers calls in there for proud parents out there.
So I think that you could factually state that the number one, the starters for the Hutchinson defense gave up a grand total of about 28 yards in this game. That's pretty good.
Titan Hennehall, one of the safeties out there. Hutch shows a little blitz, but they bounce back out of it now. And they'll switch out a tight end to the left side.
Jax Hennehall's back at safety, too.
Here they'll punt it away. Here comes the kick. Way back and lets it bounce at about midfield. They'll down it right there.
Let's see if Hutchinson has new players on the offensive side of the ball as well. And yes, they do. Whole new unit coming out to play for Hutchinson, and I think it'll be Jax Hennehaw at quarterback.
Royals in Cleveland about to get the things underway here coming up in just a little bit. Cleveland's kind of owned the Royals over the last few games here. Inside of Valley Center territory, ball at the 49. It'll be 1st and 10, and it will be for Hutchinson. It'll be Jax Hennehaw, the quarterback.
Camden Jensen is the center now.
Gives it off, first man through with some positive yardage. He carries it forward across about to the 45-yard line. Nice job out there on the carry for the Salthawks is Devin Spiller. Spiller with a nice job of running the football right there.
Hutchinson Salthawk JV will be in action on Monday on Labor Day, I believe, won't they, Glenn?
I believe it is. I wasn't sure they were going to play on Labor Day or not, so we'll double check that. But that'll be here at Gowan Stadium. Down in the center, Hennehaw. Turn. Hennehaw keeps it himself up to about the 40-yard line, leans forward to the 39-yard line. Nice 6-yard pickup, and that's exactly what Hutch needed. Let's see if they move the chains or not, and I believe they will. Picks up the 1st down. Stops the clock with 5:51 to actually keeps rolling the clock with 5:48 to go. They might have decided to roll that clock due to the possible lightning situation.
Yeah, they're keeping it going pretty quickly. The officials understand the situation here, but now there's a equipment issue or something on the Valley Center side of the ball. Cade Wilson is going off the field, and
he's had a tough night.
He's not happy.
So 1st and 10 now for the Salthawks. Now they roll the clock again at the 39-yard line. Hennehaw, the quarterback. They'll break center here on a 1st and 10 situation. Game clock down to about 21 seconds. We will allow, on the postgame, allow plenty of time for Coach Vernon to get all the way up here.
We'll check with Coach Vernon, but if I remember right, the JV plays at the opposite location
yes, they
as
do.
the varsity. So
that might be on the road.
Will probably be at Valley Center.
The turn to give up the middle around the outside, trying to get some positive yardage, pick up of about 8. And that will be the ball carrier on that one, will be Skylar Graham.
One of the concerns Coach Vernon voiced to us at lunch on Wednesday is the depth of the team. So situations like this can help improve that when you get some younger players, some varsity action on Friday night.
Hayes 28, Wichita East. This third quarter score is 0.
Hayes has a good team.
They're a good squad.
They have several big-name players.
They sure do. Mill Valley 28, Gardner Edgerton 14. Those are both third quarter scores.
Mill Valley traditionally good.
2nd down and 4. Hennahaw keeps it, tucks it away down to about the 29-yard line. Jax Hennahaw. Is he the first quarterback in the Hennahaw family, possibly?
I don't think the other one's played quarterback.
29-yard line he carries it to. 3:56 and counting, going along.
Adam Kroll has moved to Republic High School in Missouri with Ryan Cornelson, and they had their opener last night. They won big. I think it was 47-7 or something like that.
Here with 3:40 to go in the contest, fourth quarter play, it's 34-6. Hutchinson. Hutch going to win this ball game. Right now, some of the backup players getting some time. Hennahaw at quarterback.
Adam Kroll's brother Mace coaches on the Salt Hawk football staff.
Here comes the option with one of the slot. Spun to the turf. I think that's going to be Skylar Graham on the carry again. Picks up the 2nd down and about 7. 3:13 to go.
This unit is executing well. Like to see that.
You listen to KWBW Hutchinson, Kansas, coming up at 9 o'clock. As Dan likes to say, 9 o'clock and all is well.
All is well.
And especially in Salt Hawk land, 34-6 now, Hutchinson on top.
All is well in the center of the garden spot of the universe.
Don't forget the scoreboard show directly after the post games with the Salt Hawks. Hennahaw, man in motion. Fumble picked up, I believe, might have been by Valley Center. Valley Center comes up with the football.
Well, I spoke too soon.
They'll have it at the 28.
How well they were executing. That is a fairly typical thing that happens usually when you change up your lineup. Sometimes the ball ends up on the ground.
So I'll take it to the 29 where the fumble occurred, and it'll be Valley Center's football. So Hutchinson came in here. We had a close score at halftime, 7-6. Got it done in the third quarter to take it away, and right now 34-6 is the score. And I think they sputtered a little bit in that first half. First possession did not get anything accomplished, and finally got going, got that 7-0 lead, but gave it up very quickly. But the extra point by Valley Center was not any good. There's an 85-yard kickoff return by Wilson for Valley Center. Here's a giveaway straight up in the middle. Nothing there. Matter of fact, a loss of a couple yards on the play.
Wow.
Clock at 2:30.
I was about to say watch for Cameron Kaufman to get probably a big gain in here since he's going against the reserves for Hutchinson, but these guys aren't playing like reserves. They're playing good football.
Playing well. Graydon Peck out there at one of those linebacker slots. He's a backup to Layden Dickerson.
Aiden Fountain in the game now on the defensive line. Good-looking young man. 6'3", 225 pounds.
Kids are getting some playing time. Here's Turner, the quarterback, gives away, straight ahead running, first man through, and that's going to be his big fullback, and that's going to be Ethan Vanderweide. Carries forward and rolls forward like a bowling ball for a pickup of a couple yards. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Ball at the 33-yard line. Valley Center 33. Again, if you just tuned in by chance, 34-6, Hutchinson, all Hutchinson. Big third quarter play. It was 7-6 at halftime. So Hutchinson kind of showed what they could do with a big third quarter play on 4 touchdowns scored in the second half. Down under center is Turner. Give again. They're going to give it to Vanderweide again, and he plows forward for a pickup of a couple.
And right on cue, that was Aiden Fountain making the tackle.
So 4th down and short, 4th and 2 from the 37.
Freshman Terrell King Center getting some action.
Yeah, that's good to see.
Back there in the secondary.
So important. Kids practice. It started even with weights way back when, and just all you want is an opportunity. Show what you can do, and they'll grade these backup players just as much as they do the starters. A little late substitution for Valley Center coming in on one of those guard spots, and then another substitution. Now we got too many men on the field, so that'll cause a delay of game and a whistle. A timeout's taken by Valley Center. They'll stop it right there. We'll get a quick timeout in with only 26 seconds remaining to go in the contest. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Hutchinson leading at 34-6. A timeout taken by Valley Center. We'll be right back in a half minute.
Hutchinson High School Sports is on air thanks to these outstanding Salt Hawk boosters. The Medicine Shop, Portfolio Recovery Associates, Hayden's & Co. Salon and Beyond, American Family Insurance Agent Travis Rodenbaugh, APAC Shears, Pools Plus, First National Bank, Next Tech Wireless, the Summit of Hutchinson with Doctors Lowen and Severud, Prairie Star Health Center, Ashcraft Pharmacy, Axel's Taxi, and Edward Jones Financial Advisor William Thacker. Thanks for listening.
Need to send someone money? Pay a babysitter? Split the bill? Use First Pay. It is the first.
Okay, right after this one. All right, there we go. Welcome back. So glad to have you along this evening. Just heard myself talking, Dan. That kind of scares you, doesn't it? Here comes the punt, and it's going to be nobody back there, actually. It's going to hit and bounce and be down at about the 32-yard line. So with 15 seconds, it's going to roll it off. That's going to be the ball game. Your final 34-6. Hutchinson wins their number one game of the year for this first weekend, and they'll get set to take on Garden City next week. It'll be a little bit of a different situation, so we'll look forward to seeing what's going to take place with that. I do not have a score in from Garden City, as Yvette Nick will have it more than likely on his postgame show. But your final tonight, 34-6. Salt Hawks bounce back in the third quarter to take control of the ball game, and they win it 34-6. We'll take a timeout and get set to talk things over, get into the stats part of the broadcast brought to you by the Medicine Shop. We'll be back with more right after this.
Need a pharmacy you can rely on? One where they focus on learning your name and your needs? Being the best pharmacy possible, having a friendly and knowledgeable staff, and stocking the products you need is what Ashcraft Pharmacy is all about. Whether it is dry skin, a cough, or runny nose, aches and pains, or something that requires prescription medications, you can count on Ashcraft Pharmacy in South Hutchinson. Stop in, call, pick up curbside, or we'll be happy to deliver. Ashcraft Pharmacy, Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Forward, always moving, never stagnant. Together, nothing great is ever accomplished without it. At Fee Insurance Group, we've been working side by side with our clients for more than a century. Together with individuals, organizations, and communities, we look ahead to protect the people, places, and things they love. We're Fee Insurance Group. Forward, together.
The Kansas State Fair is right around the corner, and we couldn't be more excited. Finally, delicious fair food, rides, music, and remarkably low prices on all of our spas, grills, and outdoor furniture. Come see Pools Plus this year at the Kansas State Fair, September 10th through the 19th. Come take advantage of the savings. Give the professionals at Pools Plus a call to schedule your pool closing. Our schedule is filling up fast. Stay safe and shop local. Pools Plus, 21 East 1st in downtown Hutchinson.
APAC Shears has deep roots in Kansas. This is Tom Stivers. We were started by George Shears in 1874, just 3 years after the founding of Hutchinson, and are Hutchinson's first contractor. APAC Shears is known for big highway projects, but think local when you need a new driveway, parking lot, or other paving project. APAC Shears is proud to provide local jobs and employ local people. Find out more about your local construction and aggregate company by visiting apacshears.com, a CRH company.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Medicine Shop in-game capsule. Nice win, 34-6. Post-game capsule, excuse me. Nice win, 34-6 by the Salt Hawks, as they had a great big third quarter play. And then it kind of came down to that second quarter with 15 seconds left, not able to punch it in. That kind of set the tone, I think, when both teams came out in the second quarter, because that could have been big. It wasn't. I mean, as a matter of fact, Valley Center got their 6 points on a big play, an 85-yard kickoff return right after Hutchinson had taken a 7-0 lead, but still that gave them fodder to talk about at halftime to say, hey, you go messing around, you might lose this thing, and that was not the case. Hutchinson really turned it up, and Noah Kokar with 2 big, long runs, and he had several other great runs in there as well. Hogan got it going from his 6 yards in a cloud of dust, so to speak, and piling it in on the goal line, but those 2 were outstanding tonight, and it did a good job. The Medicine Shop post-game capsule brought to you by the Little White Castle at 14th and Main. Rick Stone and the gang do a great job. They encourage you to get your vaccination. Also, your flu shots won't be long. I'll be working on those before too long. We were lucky last year. Did not have the flu. Still need to keep your social distancing. I think whatever you do, wash your hands. But Rick will be ready there as soon as with the vaccination, as soon as they get the go-ahead from the government to be able to get things going. So just a heads up right there is they do have that. So, Nat, what do you have for some of the stats? We did have some problems with the stats tonight, by the way, being able to get them going, but what a big third quarter and what a great defensive effort.
21-point third quarter. That was the story of the game. The first half was a struggle. It was a tight game at halftime, 7-6. Now, statistically, Hutchinson outgained Valley Center 155 yards to 35, and Valley Center only had 2 first downs in that first half. But then, as you said, Glenn, coming out of the locker room after halftime, that third quarter, spectacular on both sides of the ball for the Hutchinson Salthawks. To end the game, Hutchinson ran 55 plays for 398 yards, just shy of 400. I know the coaching staff goes back through the film and does some restatting in the film session, so maybe they'll find another 2 yards, and maybe Hutchinson will have 400 yards for the game. Valley Center just 39 total yards on 35 plays. Noah Kokar, 12 carries, 163 yards. Zach Hogan, 23 carries, 101 yards. And that's pretty much the extent of the stats that we have access to.
What was Kokar's numbers again?
12 carries, 163 yards.
That was outstanding by Kokar. You really got it going in that third quarter of play.
And I believe he was also 2 for 3 on pass attempts.
Which one was about a 30-yarder that took it to the 50, and then he ran it in from 50 yards out in the third quarter of play.
Right. That was to start the third quarter when Hutchinson went on an 80-yard drive in just 3 plays. They lost a yard on first down to start the third quarter. Next play, gained 31. And the play after that, Noah Kokar, 50-yard dazzling touchdown run.
That is your Medicine Shop post-game capsule brought to you by the Medicine Shop at 14th and Main, 14th and Main, a Little White Castle we like to talk to him about. Outstanding. Went in there and even got myself a nice card for my wife as we celebrated our 26th anniversary yesterday. I got brownie points. She forgot to get one. I remembered, and I'm in good shape right now. So you can stop in and get those, and don't forget those vaccinations and some other things they got going on. Great little supporter of athletics in Hutchinson. Great staff as well. Stop in. If they deliver, they'll get it done for you. That's the Medicine Shop in Hutchinson. This is going to close out the stat part of the broadcast. We'll get set for the Coaches Show coming your way in just a little bit. Mike Vernon's up here, and we'll get set for all that coming your way right after this. Again, your final score, 34-6. Hutchinson with the win, and we'll be back with more right after this.